They had a whole story. Person, he's a dictator. He was terrible to his people. And what did I say, Smitty, yesterday? This is not about the legality at this point. This is about the narrative. What narrative are they going to push to justify what they did? Because you already have legal experts saying, hold on a second here. What just happened? And why did you bring his wife? They're already asking those questions, right? Mm-hmm. So they've manufactured this story that America was under imminent threat because of drugs. That has been debunked over and over and over again. Okay, so what's the next story? Oh, we took him out because he was a bad person and he was terrible to his people. And yet a week prior, Trump pardoned a drug pin king from Honduras. It doesn't make sense. So then Trump screwed up, didn't say anything to Congress, okay, went on the press conference and said, oh, the reason why we didn't say anything to Congress, he didn't bring up legality. He said, oh, because they leak information. Sir, that is a Republican majority Congress. So you don't even trust your own people. And by the way, at that press conference yesterday, Marco Rubio was up there. Marco Rubio didn't even know that he was going to pull this off. When I tell you the depth of that this is going to go, y'all are about to see, and you should care. You absolutely should care, because if they've manufactured a story about this being about drug cartels and they arrested him, because I did a deep dive into the legality. Like, how in the world did they justify taking his wife? Mm-hmm. They're justifying it by saying that Maduro and his wife and a couple other people are head of a drug gang. Mm-hmm. And they've done criminal things. Mm-hmm. Like James said, this is gonna fall apart in the courts. But if they manufactured that story and it's been debunked 9 million times sideways, that this was not about drugs, they can manufacture a story about anybody. Mm-hmm. Is what James is saying. That's why this is critically important. And I'll land on this. This concerns me deeply that we've lost the plot. Right? We're going to spend a good portion of this conversation talking about how Venezuelans feel, which is important, or how he's a bad person. Nobody's talking about the legality about this. Nobody's questioning if it's all about him, then why did you take his wife? Why are we not questioning that? And who they snatched? So that's what I want to say.
Okay. Unscripted, please DM me that. Yes, absolutely. I will definitely take a look at that. Anything I can to support anything that you create, I'm all over it. So please do that. Please tap the screen, you guys. Michelle makes a good point. I would normally counter with a question for you, but I do want to get up to Carolina and Blue Jay. Then I want to go down to Jermaine and get Jermaine's final comment. I do want to bring up, we got quite a few Venezuelans in the request now, so we're going to bring up some more Venezuelans. Give me a second. Let me let Carolina get her opening comment in. Carolina, how do you feel about what you've heard? And how do you feel about Trump saying that the U.S. will govern Venezuela hasta que es una transición apropiada?
Oh my goodness, I feel so much. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm going to try to be as succinct as possible, and I'm going to correct a lot of misinformation I heard and also build off of what Nichelle, James, and Jermaine have stated already. But I have a quick question for Karimar. It doesn't need to be a discussion. Are you Venezuelan or of Venezuelan descent?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's what I thought. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go into this then. So number one.
That's what you thought?
Yes. Please be quiet. Thank you. So anyway.
And you are not about to disrespect me.
Dios mío, por el amor de lo que sea, please. Okay. So anyhow, number one, Machado was the leader of the opposition party. She did not run for office. So even like throwing her into this mix as if she has a right to even be considered as a leader for the country of Venezuela is completely asinine. She didn't run. So as was stated earlier, Edmundo Gonzalez was the person who ran. There have been no communications between the United States administration and Edmundo Gonzalez to even potentially put him in the running to be in this position to lead Venezuela. So that should tell you it's not about the free and fair elections that you guys are claiming it's about, because if that were the case, they would be going to the candidate who actually ran against him most recently. They are not including him in any discussions whatsoever. Number two, There was, I know that Google is gone, but he made a point about Cuba. I just want to say that's completely false. I've actually lived in Cuba. The U.S. propaganda against countries that have socialist or communist tendencies is very powerful in this country. And unless you actually go to those countries, I suggest you guys stop spinning narratives that the United States has fed you. The other thing that you stated about even the poorest people in America having having benefits, I don't know if you're paying attention, but the poorest people in America are losing their benefits rapidly under this administration and being left out of social programs that are necessary because of how our economy is. What's interesting about that, though, is you lied about Venezuela. They do have those social benefits in place, to the point that a lot of Venezuelans who have come here to the United States have complained about not being able to get free healthcare immediately when they arrive. Many of them have actually gone back to Venezuela because even though they are, quote unquote, against the regime, they don't like the fact that they don't have certain guarantees of social benefits in this country, whereas they do in their country. Same thing in Cuba. They have free healthcare, free education. So that's one thing. And additionally, I made a point yesterday, Smitty, about telling you guys about why race and socioeconomic status matter in this conversation. And I am going to be putting a video together later. When people are sitting here claiming that Venezuelans are celebrating, the majority of footage that they are showing are white Venezuelans who are currently in the United States. They are not showing people from Venezuela. If you were to look up Black and indigenous Venezuelans, they are protesting and demanding the return of Maduro to their country. This is not to say that all of them are supporting Maduro or are in accordance with everything he has done. But the Black and indigenous people in Venezuela are in the streets protesting. You can look this up. I will produce a video of it later. This is a manufactured narrative, as Nichelle was stating. This is not what the reality is for the majority of Venezuelans in Venezuela. Additionally, I spoke with even a white Venezuelan girl who said in the morning, yes, she spoke to her family in Venezuela and they were kind of relieved because they were against Maduro. However, that celebration stopped immediately and everyone went silent because even the people in Venezuela who are against Maduro are terrified of the United States occupying their country and potentially putting in a right-wing dictator. I don't know if we're just like, we have amnesia when it comes to politics. Does anybody remember what we did to Noriega in Panama? This is a rinse and repeat issue of what we have done to other Latin American countries.
Let me bring thank you, Kat, for that, Carolina. Let me bring in Blue Jay. Hey, Blue Jay, I just had to mute you in the beginning just because your mic was giving some feedback, so I sent you a request to unmute. But yeah, Blue Jay. So, what do you think about what Carolina just said about most Venezuelans, especially Black and indigenous Venezuelans, are not happy with Maduro being taken? You're Venezuelan, obviously. What do you think about what you just heard? And Carrie Mar, I'm gonna come to you too. You'll be next because Carolina mentioned you in the comment. But Blue Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, no, for sure. I do want to start off saying that, I do respect everybody's opinion. But me coming from Venezuela, I came here when I was 4. I have a whole history for my family. My dad literally came here because of Chavez. He took, he closed all the companies. My dad had a big company over there and everything got shut down. And, we had to start a new life here. So, this dictatorship has been here for, 26 years, starting with Chavez. And just my opinion on me going through everything, I still have family in Venezuela right now. I have family in Caracas, Mérida, San Cristobal. And I've spoken to my family because we're in contact all the time. Of course, we are celebrating because they caught Maduro. We've been waiting for this for so long. So many innocent lives have been taken away because of this dictatorship, because we did as much as we could, protesting with no weapons or anything over there. And still, the government suppressed us. And like I said, we've had family members that passed away during the protest. And you can see stories as well of all the innocent people that have passed away, protests. And then of talking about how, we talk about Machado.
If you don't mind, and I want to let you continue exactly what you said. I just want to get to the you said your family is celebrating, but do you feel that most Venezuelans are celebrating, or do you like? And you may not know either way. I'm just curious as to
no, for sure. And this is again coming from I'm Venezuelan, my family and friends throughout because I have family all over the world at this point because of us having to leave the country. But no, the majority of Venezuelans are celebrating that Maduro is gone, right? That's a must. Now, of course, thankfully, no one got hurt, right? The way that Trump, like I said, I don't support Trump. I'm a lot of people are mistaking us celebrating this. That means we all support him, right? Because there's a lot of things that, especially immigration, that's a whole different story. That things have been going on that we don't support. But in this situation, with 26 years of suffering, of just not seeing your family, like I haven't seen my grandmas in 26 years. My parents haven't seen their moms in 26 years. Seeing, the hospitals, like they can't even, the milk being so high, like it's ridiculous how much money we sent over there because it's so expensive over there, right? For somebody to grab something. I know they talk about, that the government gave out stuff. The only people that get stuff over there from Maduro was the people that supported Maduro. If you did not support Maduro, you did not get anything. I just want to clear that up. Because if not, then my family would get benefits, but they never supported them.
Question?
Oh yeah, real quick, fam. Yeah, let me just ask one thing, and this is a general question. Maybe Carolina, you can answer this. I do want to go to Jermaine because I'm gonna let him go too, though. And some of the people are putting this in the chat, and this is one I'm not asking them for any agenda. I'm just trying to understand this one. Is that?
And I'm sorry, one more thing to verify is that. The people that are supporting like protesting about Maduro are definitely ones that are not Venezuelan. So I don't know where Carolina got that.
So real quick, y'all, let me just finish my point. Because what I'm hearing from some people that have come up on the panel yesterday and today have said, hey, this was completely violence free. It was perfect. It was carried out without any violence. And then I've heard, which I thought was true, but again, I just need somebody to clarify this either way, because to me, this is a black or white type thing, right? I've heard that it was 40 some odd people that were unalived. And so I don't understand, right? So I'm just trying to understand, was it 40 people? Was it 44 people? Was it none? Like,
I think there's still
something that's either yes or a no.
Yeah, I think they're still looking at the total number. They're already starting to share stories of the people who lost their lives, including a woman who was asleep in her bed and was unalive due to the invasion and bombing. So, like, it absolutely happened. It was not violent free. I do want to just say one thing and ask her a quick question, because that is a lie. The people who they are showing protesting in the streets of Venezuela are black and indigenous Venezuelans.
Yeah, but those people,
I'm not done. I'm not done. I am not
support Maduro.
done. I stayed quiet.
You have to understand that, because you cannot put lies out here when they are literally the ones that support Maduro.
Hold on, Blue Jay. Just real quick, Blue Jay. Let's let Carolina finish. I'll let you respond, then I want to go to Jermaine. Blue Jay.
And you know what? And I'm just going to land it with this question for her. Blue Jay, do you racially identify as white in Venezuela, or you belong to an indigenous community, or are you black?
Let me send the request. I think we had to mute her real quick. Go ahead. You should be able to unmute Blue Jay and respond.
As indigenous.
Oh, so which indigenous community do you come from in Venezuela, and do they recognize you?
So I'm from Merida, just to let you know.
That's not a tribe.
And my
which
thing
indigenous
is,
tribe do you belong to?
Carolina, first of all, you're bringing race into this, which has nothing to do.
Please answer the question.
As a Venezuelan, I'm telling you
this. You can't even say
Venezuela.
It's not Venezuelan. It's Venezuelan or venezolano.
Soy venezolana. Usted no me va a decir nada. Tú te callas la jeta, porque yo ya estoy cansada de la mierda que usted está poniendo ahí. Tú estás diciendo mentiras.
¿Cuál pueblo originario te reclama?
Mira. Tú de paso ni hablas bien el español, para que tú sepas.
Sí, hablo español.
Para que tú sepas. Usted está diciendo mentiras en esta vaina.
Usted no sé si usted soporta a Maduro o a Chávez. Usted no vivió en Venezuela.
I
para
do
que tú
support
sepas.
Chávez,
Tú
not
no
Maduro.
sufriste
Anyway,
nada.
so
Tú no
please
sufriste
answer the
nada.
question.
Entonces, ¿para qué tú estás hablando
Please
aquí si tú
answer
no
the
sufriste para
question.
nada?
Please
¿Ok?
answer the question.
Usted está
What?
soportando a Maduro
Please
y a
answer.
Chávez.
Okay,
Usted
one
no
second.
sabe todo lo que ha sufrido mi
Yeah.
familia.
So
Usted no
which-
sabe.
I'm
Entonces,
asking you a
mejor
question.
cállate la jeta
I
y
will not.
respeta
So,
porque no...
girl, you really
Okay,
need
so
to
real
check
quick,
yourself. I'm going to ask
real
one
quick,
last
y'all,
time and then I'll move on.
real quick. Hold on,
Go
y'all.
ahead,
Hold
Smitty.
on. Give me a second. Okay. So first off, just a couple quick announcements. Okay, one quick announcement, and then I do want to let Jermaine get an opportunity, and I'm going to get a Venezuelan. And the folks that say she already said she came to America when she was 4. Let's not shame her and her process. That's number one. Okay, whether or not we agree or disagree. Number 2, we will not shame anybody for speaking Spanish or any other language that they want to speak on this platform. That will never happen. Okay. Number 2, right? You know my phrase, okay? Si hablas dos idiomas, eres bilingüe, pero si solo hablas uno, eres americano. So it ain't happening on this platform. Period. Okay, Carolina, your response. Blue Jacket.
Yeah, I'll land with this so that other people can weigh in. The reason why, and I'm going to reiterate, as an indigenous person from Latin America who is a citizen of my tribe and claimed by all of my tribes and is an actual indigenous person who speaks my indigenous language plus 2 colonizer languages. Thank you very much. I am going to ask this because I work with indigenous tribes in Venezuela. The fact of the matter is, I bet you anything, this woman can't even name 5 indigenous tribes from Venezuela without looking it up. And that is the problem. They want to talk about the suffering, but they do not want to talk about the suffering of indigenous Venezuelans and Afro-Venezuelans prior to Chavez coming into power and how they continue to be affected by white Venezuelans. This is what a lot of people do in Latin America. They use the raza cósmica myth and the mestizaje myth to claim indigeneity because they know that they have mixed ancestry. That does not make you indigenous. The community makes you indigenous. So unless you belong to that community and you can speak your language and you are claimed by those people, you are not indigenous, which is why I'm asking, because as I stated yesterday and will continue to state, all of these geopolitical issues that are in Latin America absolutely come down to a socioeconomic and racial divide. And for people like her to sit here and lie and say that indigenous and Afro-Venezuelans are not out in the streets protesting right now, this is disingenuous and this is white supremacy repackaged. The images of people who are celebrating are mostly white Venezuelans. And if you look where those accounts are coming from, they're in the United States.
Okay,
you can look this up.
Let's do this. Let's let Blue Jay respond. Okay, but let's give her an opportunity, and then Jermaine, I'm coming to you. Okay, but we gotta let her respond. Blue Jay, you should be able to unmute. Let's let Blue Jay get a full response. Go ahead, Blue Jay.
What I don't understand is that you're bringing race into, like, it doesn't matter. We're all Venezuelan at this point. I'm not talking about a specific like indigenous or white. Like we literally are all suffering over. Like my family has been suffering for years. Like that's the point where I'm trying to get to you. But you're bringing race in here. Like I'm talking about all the Venezuelan people. Yet we have all suffered. That's what I'm trying to get to the point, is that the people that are protesting, they're not even Venezuelan. Okay. Or if they are Venezuelan, they support they have supported Hugo Chavez and Maduro. And if you support them, then you're literally going into that communism and dictatorship that they have. Okay. I literally came here when I was 4 years old for the same reason.
Hold on. Catalina, give me a second. Let's let her finish.
You're right.
Go ahead, Blue Jay. Go ahead.
I saw everything that my parents have gone through. I've seen my family. I mean, I've talking to them for years. Like I said, my grandmas are still over there. It's been a lot throughout these years. And I'm telling you, porque soy 100% venezolana. Yo vine aquí de los 4 años. I've been here since I was 4. It's not my fault. Fortunately, Chavez took everything down that my dad had to come here. And we had to start from zero. And I'm telling you, all this, like, it's not easy to, like, not see your family for 26 years. And then every time we call them,
It's always, they can't find this, they can't find that. Or if they have to go to the fucking hospital, they can't find this. So my grandma has to make some like remedy or some shit. Going through that shit for 26 years is not fucking easy, man. It is not. And that's why it upsets me when people just think that this whole conversation, oh, you came here when you were 4. I know. I've seen I've been with my parents all my life, seeing how much they suffered. My family has suffered. So you can't tell me you're not Venezuelan. You don't have Venezuelan family. You don't fucking know shit, man.
Okay, let me
And
do
you're
this.
gonna come out here and say stuff like this. Like, I understand. I don't know where you're from in Latin America, but you have to understand that we're not supporting Trump. We're supporting that they have captured a dictator that has made us suffer for years.
I think you do know where I'm
Hold
from
on,
in Latin
hold on,
America,
hold on,
which is
real
why
quick.
you insulted my Spanish, because Venezuelans and Colombians have a tendency to insult Mexicans and Dominicans for the way we speak Spanish. So I think you
Real
did
quick.
know exactly
Real quick,
where I
let
was
me-
from.
No, I got you. But again, listen, y'all, in the chat, please. Okay, whether or not we folks agree with Blue Jay or not, let's hold space for pain, right? Let's hold space for that, y'all. Let's not mock anybody's pain, right? No matter what. Okay, let's not do that, y'all. Let me go to Jermaine because I do gotta let Jermaine go, right? And then I want to go to James after Jermaine. Go ahead, Jermaine. Go ahead.
Hey, Smitty, I got 2 questions and a few comments, and I'll be done. This is from Karamar, because she said she's from Puerto Rico. Do you call out or do you talk about the U.S. occupation in Puerto Rico? Because that's what's happening over there. Do you?
What do you mean occupation? We're part of the United States.
Okay, next question. All right.
No. Don't listen to me. I would like Puerto Rico to be a state. I am very proud to be an American.
You didn't answer my question,
He
though.
doesn't support independence.
Do you support that liberation and independence and reject U.S. occupation?
No.
Okay, that's all I needed to know, Smitty. That's the only question I want to ask. So everything lines up with everything she just said. All right. So my next comment is for Blue Jay. I'm not gonna make fun of her, crying or anything like that. But also, I just wanted to make a comment when she said that her dad left Venezuela under the Chavez presidency. First off, when Chavez came to power, one of the many things he did was kicked out these foreign lobbies and foreign governments that was influencing Venezuela. He nationalized things just like oil, communications, steel, and everything that was for the Venezuelan people. So maybe, I don't know if it was your dad who was a member of those private companies that were working for foreign companies. Mm-hmm. But just like when Fidel Castro came into Cuba and kicked out all these white supremacy, white plantation slave owners, these foreign business owners or whatever, it's the same thing he did. And so you see a trend of those same people that celebrate, quote unquote, celebrate Venezuela, what just happened in Venezuela, or to try to celebrate the blockades and sanctions in Cuba. Those are the ones who suffered and been kicked out because of maybe Fidel Castro, Maduro, Chavez nationalizing their economy for the Venezuelan people, mainly the Chavez. So I wanted to make that quick point. And my last point, Smitty, nobody seems to talk about, the state of these countries, right? The state of, especially like the global south, whereas Venezuela, Cuba, nobody talks about the blockades, the sanctions, and everything that they face under U.S. imperialism. That's why their economy struggles. Nobody talks about nobody understands how blockades and sanctions are death by 1,000 cuts. People are suffering because the U.S. has a stronghold. And people got to understand Cuba relies on Venezuela and a lot of resources. This will primarily affect them too. So nobody seems to talk about how these can vice grip these countries. These sanctions and blockades, Smitty. So I just wanted to land my point on that. It's like we have to talk, we talk about the economy of these countries, but nobody talks about the blockades and the sanctions and how they make it hard for these countries to do business and have a life because they reject U.S. imperialism. We can criticize Maduro, but one thing he always did is reject U.S. interference and imperialism. He's still with a lot of liberation factions for Palestine, but we can acknowledge that too. So every time these leaders and governments reject U.S. imperialism, what's the common thing, Smitty? They have blockades and sanctions. When they want to nationalize things, Smitty, what happens? Blockades and sanctions. The Cuba Revolution. What happened after that when Fidel Castro came to power? Blockades and sanctions. Cold War. The Bay of Pigs. And that's why you see these interventions. So I'm gonna land my point there, Smitty. We have to talk about the blockades and the sanctions that vice grip these economies that causes them to suffer. And I'm gonna land it there.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. As always, good having you up, man. I appreciate you, man. Let me go to. I would normally go to. Oh, give me 1 second, fam.
You're coming to me, so don't forget.
Yeah. I know. Give me a second.
James, I need to do a modern announcement. Pipe down, James.
Give me a second. Because I want to make sure the panel is balanced. So I'm going to bring up another Venezuelan. I know a lot of people want to come up. Give me 1 second. But I do want to do just a quick poll. Okay. Now that we got more people in, I just want to see where the chat is. Y'all know, okay, this is a platform. I want to make sure we got folks in the chat that can participate. So if you agree with what Donald Trump did in Venezuela, go ahead and put a 1. If you disagree, put a 2. I just want to see where the chat is. James, give me 1 second, bro. I do want Michelle to do a very quick, like 20-second mod announcement. And then I'm going to come to you, and then Carrie might want to come to you and get a final from you. So go ahead, Michelle, real quick.
You know what? Wow. I'm trying to help you, brother. You listen. Okay, real quick. Okay. 890 people. That's why I wanted to do a quick mod check because we had like 500 people here before. If you guys could like and share, please like and share the live. Continue to share and click on the orange heart by the host name and follow him as well so you can get your badge. I appreciate it. Happy, Smitty?
That was perfect. Now, listen. I had a Venezuelan. She must have left. I don't see her anymore. Where did she go? If you're Venezuelan in the chat or in the request, I should say, let me know. Put a comment. Okay, either I or Ahmad will get you up. Bubby, I appreciate you, fam. And if not, I'm going to go to James. I'm going to keep this slot open. Or if you are pro what happened, I'll get you up as well. Okay. And then I want to get Cubby in on this as well. So let me go ahead, James.
So the appeal to emotion that I'm hearing is wonderful, but that appeal to emotion does not itself make what happened right. But I find it interesting that people are celebrating a man that removed TPS protections from Venezuelans at the top of his administration and has deported 8,000 people to Venezuela for no other reason than them being Venezuelan and American in America. And you think that person, that the person that is literally, if he thought that the situation in Venezuela was so bad, then why would he remove TPS protections? Why would he deport people back to the country that he is claiming is so horrible, huh? Because he doesn't care. It isn't about care and concern from this guy. But that isn't the benchmark. Does it comport with the law? And it doesn't. And I can say this till I'm blue in the face. People are going to be happy because their personal position is made better, but that doesn't change how it erodes the rule of law in this country. And I am not, my litmus test, for the lack of a better term, because I hate that term, for if this is correct or incorrect won't be because people like it. I don't give a shit who likes or dislike it. I don't. That's not how the law works. The law works to restrain the executive, to restrain aggressive, inappropriate moves. Again, what stops? Everybody has said, well, the election was proven to be false. By whom? By which international body? Which tribunal said that? Did the UN sanction them? But moreover, what stops some other individual president here? No court heard anything. No body in Venezuela asked for us to intervene. What happens when another president decides, oh, you know what? it wasn't a legitimate election in Mexico. And since it wasn't a legitimate election in Mexico, I'm going to manufacture consent and go and arrest the president of Mexico and then occupy it. And if you think the person doing that, who has then deported the people to that country, cares, you're smoking something that I assure you is going to mess you up for life.
Okay, let me do this. Let's go to Brad. Just typing out the response to you, man. So let's go to Brad. Let's let Brad. Brad wants to respond to that specifically, and then after Brad, we'll go to Carrie Mard. And again, I do see now a couple of Venezuelans in the request. I'm going to get you up, but I also want to get up my little sis Covey as well, too, to continue to keep the panel balanced. Go ahead, Brad. Good to see you, man. What are your thoughts?
Smitty, great to see you, bro. Appreciate you bringing me up.
Of course.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. I understand the concern of the legality of what's going on right now, but really what I'm hearing is a lot of anti-American, anti-Trump criticisms and concerns over our administration versus what the result of the play was. And so while I understand that you're so concerned with the legality and the law, I want you to rest assured that under the Obama administration, many things took place that did not follow constitutional law, right? Every administration that we've had has violated constitutional law for the greater good of the United States of America. If you don't like this nation, you are free to move somewhere else. But at the end of the day, we look out for the best interest of our country. Whether there are ulterior motives or not, you are American, you live in America, and all you do as the left is you criticize the administration that is in play because it is a conservative administration and rip and make it about race and make it about all these other things. We look out for number one. That is the country you live in. That is the roof that is over your head. I don't know why you have this uber concern about the small nuances of legality in the Constitution that was written, mind you, 300 plus years ago. It's like looking to the Bible for facts. Things change, and we need to look out for number one. That is the United States of America. China does it. Russia does it. Numerous other nations do it. They have very strong nationalism in their countries, and they are doing very, very well. And if we give up that nationalism in this country, we will fall. We will not be a superpower, and all of these things that you love about the United States and living here will cease to exist.
Let me do this real quick.
I
Hey,
need to
Nichelle.
respond to that.
Real quick, Nichelle, I got to drop you real quick. I'm gonna always bring you back up.
Are you serious? Well, then let me respond first.
Yeah, go ahead, respond. Respond.
I'm gearing up for this, Brad. I'm gearing
What's
up
up,
for this.
What's up,
Brad.
Michelle?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't
Let
mess with
me tell
Nichelle,
you.
bro. I will drop you.
First of all,
I'm
you don't want that.
finish.
I'm matching energy.
You don't want that smoke. I'm telling you, you don't.
Yeah. There's a threat.
The privilege of youth, whiteness, and stupidity, my friend.
Yeah.
For you to say something like that. Okay?
Here he comes.
Okay? Here's what I love when people bring this shit up. You bring up Obama or Bush or Biden or whoever. That's not a flex. That's not a damn flex. Hey, you know what? We kidnapped people before, so it's okay now. You sound crazy. The privilege to be white, male, and stupid and loud and wrong. That is insane. Of course the law matters. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say it again, like I've said it over and over again. The pendulum swings back. The pendulum swings back, my friend. You say, oh, you're just doing this because you guys hate Trump. Of course we hate Trump, and we hate anybody who breaks the damn law. The problem with y'all MAGA is that you will twist the law to fit anything. And as a black woman in America, I'm a little offended by that. You are the one that needs to change, not me. I don't have any other place to go. Damn it, this is my home. So for you to say if you don't like this country, go somewhere else, you better miss me with that. My ancestors built this bitch. Don't tell me to go home. And while I'm here, I want my elected officials to follow the law. Period. Because my ancestors have been subject to not following the law and twisted narratives. You sound crazy. You literally sound, oh my God, you literally, and with a name like Brad,
Lady, can I
sound
respond?
like,
Yeah,
you sound,
Brad,
oh,
give me a
when I'm
second.
done,
I'll let you
when
respond.
I'm
I'll let you
done,
respond. You
It's
know
when
a lot.
I'm
It's a
done,
lot.
you can respond.
Let's let her finish. I'll let you respond. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, I got
You literally sound like that bourgeois kid that's like, if I want it, I'll take it. If I want it, indigenous people, get the fuck up out of here. I want it, I'll take it. Black people, black swag, I'll take it. Cause I'm number one. That's what the hell you sound like.
All right, let's do this. Nichelle, I'm gonna let you right back up. Thank you, fam. Thank you, fam.
If he responds to me, please don't drop me if he's gonna respond
Yeah,
to
I'm
me.
gonna respond directly to Nisha.
Oh, come on, let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna start.
Let's go.
I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna start off with
Again,
point number one.
let me just say this real quick. Let's just keep it non-personal. Okay, on both sides. On both sides. Go ahead.
Okay, Nichelle, I promise you, I don't want your black swag. I'm good. You brought that up. Two, I don't know what you think that you built as far as infrastructure goes in this country, but you didn't. And two, I know that because I'm a white man and I am young, I'm 30 years old, you think that you have this supremacy over me in this conversation because, let's be real, like, that's all you talk about is if you're white and if you're a male, you don't have an opinion and you don't deserve to have an opinion because I don't know what. I'm sorry, like, this is the United States of America. We have black, we have white, we have Asian, we have Hispanic.
I love how he left out indigenous. Love that.
Let's let me go to so Nichelle, I'm gonna bring you back. So here's the thing, y'all. We gotta center this conversation, okay? We gotta center the conversation on Venezuela. It was getting a little too off of that subject. Okay. Let me go to but Maz, check with me before you kick somebody, okay? Check with me before you kick somebody. All right. Let me go to Nichelle. Let me. I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna bring you back, okay? Because we let Brad go. Give me a second. So I'm gonna bring you back too. Let me go down to. Let's see here. Who was I gonna bring? Karimar. Go ahead. Final comment from you.
I mean, my final comment is that I agree with what's going on. Whether you like Trump, whether you hate Trump, that's irrelevant. That man needed to be out of power. Y'all keep bringing up where I'm from, where you're from. That's irrelevant. This is about the people of Venezuela and what they are going through, what they've been going through. So what does it matter if I am black, if I am white? It's about trying to save the people of Venezuela. That's it, period. That's my final comment. I agree with what's going on. If any other president would have done it, I would have agreed with it. To me, that part is irrelevant. What I support is the fact that Maduro is not in power anymore because he wasn't the legitimate president and he's out of there. So that's my final comment.
Okay. All right, Karimar. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Karimar, so with Karimar, I just like you were saying, it's like about the Venezuelan people because that's mainly what we're focusing on. Again, I don't support Trump because he's done a lot of things that I don't agree on, especially like I said, immigration and human rights and all that stuff. But I do want to say is that if you put yourself in our shoes as Venezuelans, like if you were, everything was taken away from you and your family's suffering and they're killing people, like what I want to know what
Be
you
careful with
guys
the language. Don't say the K word. You got to say unalive.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to being on lives. So
You're good. You're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'm not used to being in this situation, but
no, you're good. You're good. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm trying to let Venezuelans up every time I let y'all up. Y'all come out of the request. It's like, okay, so if you're Venezuelan, let me know in the chat. I literally was right about to let a Venezuelan up. So please stay
And
patient.
people saying that I'm not saying Venezuelan, right? I mean, I can talk in Venezolano si quieren, pero
Yeah. No,
like,
listen. We don't do language shaming here. You're fine. You're totally
It's not a
fine.
word, though.
Okay.
It's not a word, Smitty. It's not
I
a
got
word.
you.
There's no I in the damn word.
I'm sensitive to the language shaming, though. I am sensitive to that. I hear you. Go ahead, Blue Jay. Go ahead.
but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm bilingual, so sometimes my Spanish and English goes in and out. But
You good, fam?
I do. It's just so hard because I everybody has so many opinions, and I see everybody else's the way they look, but it's like unless you've been through it and you know, it's like it hurts us, right? When someone thinks that we're celebrating of Maduro, not because of what Trump did. Like that's where I'm trying to get at. It's just we've suffered so much that this is like I don't know what's going to happen from now on. I'm really hoping that it's a smooth transition. Like that's what the Venezuelan people are hoping, is that there will be a smooth transition, that hopefully Edmundo will be elected as president, because he was legally picked with the Venezuelan people, and then the official ballots are actually in Panama. So when that comes up, that they should hopefully do that transition, and then of course Maria Corina Machado is the one that's with Edmundo. Me as a Venezuelan, I do support them, and hopefully they'll be the ones that help Venezuela. And I definitely know that the U.S. or Trump in general didn't do this for free. Political never does anything for free. Any type of political, like I honestly, to be honest, I don't like any type of politicals, because everything is always someone's going to say something that this person's going to like, and vice versa, right? Like, and that's why I hate that it separates everybody, because I do want everybody to be in together, because we're all human, no matter what race, what color you are. I always see us as we're human. It doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Like, and Carolina, look, I understand where you're coming from. Look, I literally, I was raised to not look at color or anything. I literally love everyone the way they are. I'm not even, that's just how I was, like my family raised me that way. Right. So I just want to put my point out there, how I was raised. I don't care if people, take it a different way. But that's, I just want to put my opinion and everything that I've grew up. But as a Venezuelan, I really want people to see that hopefully this is a moment for our people to get back some type of freedom, and hopefully freedom all the way, right? And I just want to see my family again. Like, I really want to go back to see my family and my grandma's. That's just my point there.
Okay. All right. Let me do this. Let me go.
Can I say one quick, Smitty, like, can I just say one quick thing, and I'll go on mute until it's my turn again? I promise. I just want to point something out real quick, because this change to a docile tone all of a sudden, y'all might have missed it. But when she went off in Spanish, right? What she just said is she's complaining about people making fun of her saying Venezuelan, which is not a fucking word. I don't care what language you speak. It's not a word. But she literally tried to attack my Spanish as a Mexican, because this is what—
I never said that. I never said that.
You tried to say I didn't speak Spanish properly, and this is a common trope. You did say that in Spanish. I speak Spanish.
You were making fun of me the first time.
No, that's not what happened. I said it wasn't a word.
Yes, you did.
One second.
You're making fun of, like,
Hold on, everybody, real quick.
I don't understand. You keep coming up of either race or like how I speak or something, and then like Carolina, you're really not.
You're saying my name like a gabacha.
Okay, so hold on, y'all. Carolina, just make your point real quick, and then I want to go up to the next.
I will. Okay. I'm going to land, and then I'll wait, because I do have other points, but I want to let everybody else get in. This is exactly what I mean. White is white no matter what part of the continent they're on. They say things like, I don't see race. They say things like, you keep bringing up race. I'm not done. I was quiet while you spoke.
I understand that, but you're bringing that up again. I don't understand.
Hold on, Blue Jay. So real quick. Let me just say this to everybody. The rule on the live is when somebody's speaking, Okay, that person gets a chance to finish. If they mention you or your point, I will give you an opportunity to respond. If they don't mention you or your point, I'm going to the next panelist. But we've got three new panelists who have not said shit yet. I'm sure they want to say something too. So
Yes, and
please,
that's why I'm gonna
let's
land
finish
real
up and
fast.
then let's go up to the next panelist. Okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because, like, this is another common trope. The tears, the waterworks come on. This is whiteness. This is a tenet of white supremacy. And white is white, regardless if it's in Latin America or the United States. So to sit there and dismiss what I stated about how Afro and Afro-Indigenous and Indigenous people in the country of Venezuela are feeling, and to talk about this when I'm an Indigenous person who is trilingual, she did that and then turned on the waterworks when it was her turn, and then tried to say she doesn't see race. I just want everybody to take note of that as we proceed through these conversations, that regardless of what country they come from, white is white, and white will run to protect their fucking whiteness every chance they get. And they will use it to weaponize against women of color like me, like she just did. I'll wait until my turn is up next.
Thank you,
Carolina, let me tell you something. I have family that is black.
Hold on, Blue
I
Jay.
love
Blue
them
Jay.
with all my heart. So I was raised with them. So I don't understand why are you bringing up race when, one, you don't even know me.
Okay, so
Like,
Blue Jay, real quick. Hold on. Carolina, give me a second. Let me go to facts. We're gonna go to Covey and then Maria. Okay, so that's the order. Facts, Covey, and Maria. Okay. Now listen, I'm a couple of the mods are like Smitty, I'm losing patience. Okay, with anybody that's interrupting. So it's gonna be okay. Y'all know I run a fair platform. We're gonna let everybody speak. Everybody's gotta follow the rules, no matter how much I love you or if I just met you. Okay. Facts, my brother. Good to see you, man. What do you think about what's going on in Venezuela and what Trump says about the U.S. will govern Venezuela until there's a fair transition? What do you think, bro?
Good to see you too, sir. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me up. I appreciate it.
Of course.
To me, I think we've learned numerous times that there is no line for Trump and for MAGA supporters. And I bring it up because one of the reasons that Tulsi Gabbard, for example, was appointed DNI was because of her stance on expansionism and interventionism, and she did not support regime change. And Donald Trump ran on regime, no more regime changes. The first time he's talked about it for years, and here we are. And I would like to point out, if somebody can give me an example when expansionism and interventionism and American supported regime change has ever worked, I'll wait. Did it work in Iran? Did it work in Iraq? Did it work in Syria? Did it work in Afghanistan? Did it work in Panama? Did it work in other Central American countries? It's never worked. Here we are once again doing the same script. And in particular, like I said earlier, the line that there is no line for Trump and for MAGA supporters. They will find a way to twist this. I'm not debating the legality because the AUMF does authorize a president under certain conditions to use the military. I'm not here to debate that. We can question the legality of it all day. To me, it's the blatant hypocrisy. And lives will be lost, and nations will fall, and guess who's going to enrich themselves? The people who are always going to enrich themselves, most likely white corporate billionaires for the most part. And they will be the ones that will take advantage of more innocent people, more lives will be lost, more economies will be ruined, and the fat will get fatter. I'll lay my plane there. Thanks, man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, let me go to Covey. Covey, your thoughts, fam. Good to see you. What do you think?
Hey, Smitty. First of all, I was listening to, I think Blue Jay speak and saying something about they hope somebody gets elected or somebody goes into power. And that to me is very jarring. I'm not going to lie. Because as a Venezuelan person, shouldn't you have full control over your country? Like the very idea of you hoping that this person gets chosen, even if it's by America or whatever country, like because America is in charge now, right? And to me, it's just so confusing how a person could be okay with somebody else coming in and making that decision for them in their own country, on their own soil. That to me is crazy. That's the first point that was very shocking to me, right? How people could be okay with being led by outsiders. And And second of all, and by the way, me saying this does not mean I'm defending Maduro, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like he's a good person, right? But like two things can be true at the same time, right? Maduro can be a dictator while at the same time, like a U.S. invasion can be bad. I'm confused, right? And another thing is, why was Russia sanctioned? If people are okay with countries invading, then why was Russia sanctioned? Why was Russia punished? Why was Russia ostracized for invading Ukraine? Because to me, it's just a lot of double standards, in my opinion. Because on the one side, if people are okay with America just randomly going and invading a sovereign nation, then people should not be mad at Russia doing the same thing, right? And if America can do that, then, China can do that with Taiwan too, right? China can also just go and invade Taiwan under the guise of bringing back its country. Russia also technically was justified to invade Ukraine to protect ethnic Russians. That's what it said. So like, it's just, to me, it's very double standards. And also, secondly, there are a lot of Americans who don't like Trump. There are a lot of Americans who are suffering under Trump. There are a lot of people who are being detained by ICE. Does that mean people are then okay with just Russia marching in and switching up Trump? Like would Americans be okay with that? Like the Americans who are in America, who are suffering under Trump, was Trump implementing Project 2025, like 50% of it, and people saying he's getting rid of democracy and all that stuff. Does that mean Russia can now, by your logic, come in and remove Trump and then decide who gets to be president for you? I am confused because I don't get why America is able to just do whatever the hell it wants to do and just does not care about international law. But then those very same people, they go to other countries and then they say other countries are supposed to follow international law, but then America doesn't follow international law. What the hell? This is just two different systems. And to me, it's very confusing. Remove the sanctions off of Russia. Russia did nothing wrong, according to the people who are defending America. And Russia should just do whatever it wants in Ukraine. China should do whatever it wants in Taiwan. I don't know. Like, if everybody can invade everyone, then fine. Let just, you open Pandora's box, so let everyone invade everyone.
Yeah, no, and real quick, y'all, when a panelist is speaking, if you see me giggle, I'll never ever laugh at what a panelist is saying.
I think makes me laugh.
But y'all in the comments, however, damn it, y'all get me every live I do. Y'all get me. All right, let me go to Maria. Maria, as a Venezuelan, I'm so happy to have you up. What are your thoughts? Definitely want to hear what you think about what happened in your country and how you feel going forward, and especially to what, if you could, what Cubby just said about how you feel about the United States being involved. Either way, however you feel, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay. I just want to say hello to everyone, first of all. And
Good morning.
I was born in Venezuela. I moved here when I was 9 years old. My dad has always been involved in La Oposición, which is the people against Chavez and Maduro. Even when we were back there, he had to move over here before me. Back in 2012, he was actually born here, so he had to move back here and eventually get me and my mom the paperwork to move over here legally. Which, even when we were living back there and it was just me and my mom and my dad was over here, we did not have food. We did not have money. It was hard. There's something called El Mercal, which is like a little supermarket type thing. And you have to wait outside for hours so that you can come in and grab certain food items. But most of the time when we got inside, there was nothing left. So my dad had to send us money from over here, the small amount that he was making, because he had to start all over again, because he has 3 careers in Venezuela and here he's no one, just so that we could survive off of that. I still have family over there. I have family who voted for Chavez 26 years ago. And they may or may not think this is a good or a bad thing. It honestly doesn't matter to me, whatever their opinion is, because at the end of the day, they're still suffering. They were suffering 26 years ago when Chavez took over, and they're still suffering now. They have no access to health care. I live in a very small town in Mérida. My family over there has to drive 2 to 3 hours to make it to a hospital with decent care. And by decent, I mean the lowest of the lowest. It's not the best at all. So just, I'm not sure if they're indigenous, if they're whatever they are. And it really, to me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're my family. And that's it. But we've never been for Maduro. We've never been with him, and all the people who are outside protesting that they want Maduro back. That's cool. But at the end of the day, all the people who agree that Maduro has been removed, they don't have the same rights to go outside and protest and say, yes, thank you for taking him. Why? Because...
Hold on, she got to call you. Give me a second. We'll get Maria back here in a second, hopefully. Oh, we lost
sorry.
Maria. You had
I'm
to call.
sorry.
It's okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Maduro opened up this facility in Venezuela called El Helicoide, which is basically a torture center. So anyone who doesn't agree with him and his regime ended up there. The reason why Maria Corina is so praised and such a great person to us is because she was one of the ones who was able to fight for so many years. I met her when I was 9 years old living in Venezuela. And she's still fighting against this government. She's still fighting against the regime. So she's made it up there. There's been a lot of other people who's also tried to fight against Maduro. But guess what? They ended up in the Helicoide. They ended up getting tortured and murdered.
So real quick, Maria. So I hear what you're saying, and I think most, if not every panelist would agree that the conditions under this regime were horrific for many. My question for you is, how do you feel now that he has been deposed? Do you feel like it was the right thing to do for the United States? Do you feel like it was right?
I think it was completely right. I think it's something that a lot of us Venezuelans have been waiting for. And I think that it's only a step closer. It's not a solution. Venezuela is not freed from everything, is not freed from the regime, but we're getting a step closer. It's hope. Ever since 26 years ago when Chavez took over, we've always had hope that he would eventually leave. And for the people saying, I'm sorry to get off track, but what if someone came and took Trump instead? I completely understand that, but here's the thing. Trump hasn't been in office for 26 years. When he lost his election, when he lost, he did his first term, then he lost. Biden took over. He's not still in office. He hasn't been in office for the past 12 years. He's been in office for 4, and now he's doing another 4. And then he'll be done. Then it'll be the next person. So he has...
Let's let her finish.
Yeah.
Maduro has been in office for 26 years. Chavez died, he took over, and no one's been able to get him out. He's lost every single election, yet he's still in office. So it's rigged, and it's only rigged to his benefit.
Let me ask you one more question, Maria, and then I want to go to James at the bottom. And
sure.
You'll be next. And this is just, I don't know, so this is out of ignorance, right? I'm gonna be very upfront. How many elections have there been in the 26 years? Do you know how many? And if in the chat, y'all let me know as well. Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I was born in 2005. I do not have voting rights in Venezuela. I have never voted in Venezuela.
Okay.
But I remember going with my parents who were able to vote multiple times. And all the elections, every time we stay up until all night trying to figure out if he's finally going to get out of office, and he doesn't. So I can't tell you how many there have been.
No problem. No, I put you on the spot. No, I was just curious. Okay, let me do this.
You're good.
Okay. No, thank you for that, Maria. I'm gonna go to James and Carolina, but I'll probably have some more questions for you. And then so we'll go James, Carolina, Blue Jay, Facts. We'll just go fill up the panel unless there's some discussion points, and then we'll continue to let folks have one-on-ones for really quick. But again, please keep it professional. Please keep it respectful. And also, let's just do one more poll, last one of the live. If you think what Trump did was right in Venezuela, put a 1. If you don't, put a 2. Go ahead, James. Go ahead, brother. To what Maria said around, hey, this guy was a bad guy. It was time for him to go. Trump took him out. It was a good thing. What would you say to Maria and to Blue Jay for that point?
Yeah. So once again, I would point to the history of this president. He doesn't care about what's going on in Venezuela That's not why he did what he did. If the situation was so bad, he wouldn't have taken temporary protected status away from people and deported 8,000 people back to Venezuela. If he thought it was so bad in Venezuela, he wouldn't have done it. So I'll start there. He is not interested in making life better for anyone. And I think it's laughable to even try to utter that Trump is interested in the liberation of anybody or anything, because he is not. It's just foul. Moreover,
Go ahead.
Moreover, I think it interesting that people want us to be involved in this appeal to humanity and emotion. And while I hear it and appreciate it, it violates the law. And I would say, Facts Still Matter said something about the AUMFs. There are two of them that I know of. One directly related to, in the language of the text, 9/11 and T organizations associated with what happened on 9/11. The other one is relative to Iraq. Neither of those AUMFs have anything to do with Venezuela. But moreover, there was nothing pressing. So if we look at the War Powers Act, so first of all, this is an act of war. You don't go into foreign countries using militarized forces to arrest someone. When have you ever seen the United States military arrest a person for a crime that they're going to federal court for? It's just not how we do things in this country. And so while I appreciate that the situation was bad, we do not overcome the burden that the law prescribes. And I am interested to see what the federal court is going to say. And I'd go back to and Smitty, one of the points that were made was the election was fraudulent. He wasn't the president. Says who? Says who? And I know that there are irregularities. I have seen some reports, but says who? Donald Trump? We don't get the right to interfere. But moreover, the problem that I have that I think compounds that is now you've removed Maduro, and you said that he was associated with drugs. You removed Maduro, you removed his wife, and now the Supreme Court of that country has appointed an acting president. Why isn't that president running that country? Because if your claim is that you arrested somebody for a violation of federal law here in the United States, then why are you remaining there when the vice president is now in power? And there's no reason. We do not pass the smell test. We do not pass the legal test. And while I appreciate that people have struggled, so have people struggled in this country. But I would not invite China or Russia or any other country to come in here, depose our president, choose who they want to be our president, because it wouldn't fly here and it shouldn't fly other places. This is an imperialistic tactic that was undertaken for oil and money and distraction.
Thank you, James. Either Blue Jay or Maria, if you want to respond to that, and then I'm going to go to Carolina. Whoever wants to respond to James.
Yes. So I do have something to say really quickly. As far as the whole immigration thing goes with Trump, I believe that it was his plan to remove illegal immigrants one way or another. It has honestly nothing to do with what's going on in Venezuela now, because he's not only deporting Venezuelans, but he's deporting many other people of many other nationalities. And that's just not really the point of where we're going at. That was his plan regardless. Nothing is changing. And it wasn't him that allowed all the illegal immigrants into this country. It was Biden. So his plan was to remove them one way or another, regardless of what's happening in Venezuela. The elections have been rigged, and there is proof of that, and whoever wants to look for it, you can. I can't tell you exactly how many numbers there are or who won what election, but what I can tell you is that we had Capriles, who ran for president many years ago. Then we had another guy who also tried, and he was killed, he was murdered. So it's been a very ongoing thing for a very long time. And it honestly has nothing to do with Trump deporting illegal immigrants today. Especially whether or not they're Venezuelan, because
Can she please stop
Yeah, go ahead,
referring to
Carolina.
undocumented people as illegal?
Let's call it undocumented, please. But go ahead to what Maria is saying around undocumented immigrants. Hey, he was going to do that no matter what. Well, what would you say to that? What would you say to Maria's point? And then we'll go to Blue Jay next, and then Facts.
Yeah. There's so much, Smitty. First of all, He's not just going after undocumented immigrants. He's going after specifically brown and black immigrants, and he's going after people who are naturalized citizens as well as residents. And with his new proposal to deport 100 million people, even though there's only 14 million undocumented people and about 38 million naturalized citizens, that means he's going to have to start deporting U.S. born people. So I'm not even going to entertain that because that's just fascism. So what I do want to say really quickly, so many points have been brought up that we can talk about forever. The illegal arrest of Maduro's wife, who has nothing to do with this, the trumped up charges of DRUG allegations when he literally just pardoned the president of Honduras, who was convicted and sentenced to 45 years for trafficking hundreds of tons of white powder into this country, and that was proven. So anyway, there's all of that. There's also the fact of the matter, the reason why I want to bring this back, and I know everybody gets pissed off that I make it about race and identity in Latin America, but this is important. I'm going to ask one simple question, and then I'm going to read something and tell you the two sources that I have compiled this information from. So, Maria, I know that you said you were only born in 2005. I'm old enough to be your mother. However, are you aware of, and I just want a simple yes or no, are you aware of how the conditions were for Black and Indigenous Venezuelans prior to Chavez taking office? Yes or no? I just want a simple yes or no. Yes or no.
No.
Okay, thank you. So,
nor do
fantastic.
I really.
So I'm going to share this. So I'm going to share this because, excuse me, can you go on mute because there's an echo? Excuse me, can you go on mute because there's an echo?
Yeah, there's definitely an echo.
Yeah, because okay, thank you. So the reason why I'm going to bring it back to this is because her, Blue Jay, other people up here have repeatedly stated they don't care. They don't care about race. She did state that. I noted that when she said it. So the information I'm going to give you guys, again, I'm not a Maduro supporter. Yes, I was a Chavez supporter, and I will not make any apologies for that. I'm also a supporter of any socialist revolution in Latin America, period. I do think that Maduro was incompetent. The two sources I'm sharing this from are a historiography of the Black experience in Venezuela from the African American Intellectual Historical Society. I'm also sharing information, data assessment for indigenous peoples in Venezuela from MAR, which is Minorities at Risk. And I'm going to explain this to you. Before Hugo Chavez, Black and indigenous Venezuelans faced systemic discrimination, social invisibility, and significant socioeconomic disadvantages, despite national narratives of racial harmony, aka mestizaje, that masked deep inequalities. So pay attention when people say we're all Venezuelan, we're all this, we're all that. This is a way of trying to erase the systemic issues that Black and indigenous people face. With Afro-Venezuelans often relegated to lower status jobs and indigenous people lacking basic services like health, education, and clean water, experiencing poverty and exploitation. For Black Venezuelans, the racial democracy myth, Venezuela promoted an idea of racial mixing, suggesting harmony, but this often hid structural racism, making Black experience invisible in media and policy. Socioeconomic hierarchy. A legacy of slavery meant lighter-skinned, white, ancestry individuals held more privilege, while Black and mixed race, aka Pardo, people faced barriers, particularly in the oil sector where they were laborers, not professionals. And discrimination. Subtle discrimination persisted, with Black individuals often stereotyped as criminals or servants in media, despite official claims of equality. For indigenous Venezuelans, extreme poverty and neglect. Indigenous communities suffered from high rates of hunger. I'm almost done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Hunger, disease, lack of clean water, sewage, and poor access to health and education. With disease vulnerability, increased contact with non-indigenous people led to greater susceptibility to diseases like malaria, hepatitis B, and cholera. They were, for environmental, they were on the front lines of negative social, economic, and environmental effects from mining activities in southern Venezuela. Historical marginalization, centuries of colonization led to a decline in the indigenous population with resistance, often brutally
I'm sorry to interrupt y'all. I gotta go. I have something to do.
Fine.
I can be back later, but I gotta go right now.
Okay.
And we can resume later.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming up.
All of this marginalization and the masking of deep-seated inequalities and neglect led to the Carrasco protests in 1989, and this was a huge issue. The reason why I bring that up, and I will land, is that the fact of the matter is when people are up here talking about Maduro and Chavez, I don't give a shit about Maduro, but when they talk about Chavez the way that they did, when Chavez came to power, he implemented protections for these two groups. He brought equality for these groups. Now, has it been perfect? Absolutely not. But when people say they don't care about race and they don't care about the fact that the faces who are demanding and protesting out in the streets in Venezuela are Black and Indigenous, that matters in this conversation.
Okay. Thank you, Catalina. Blue Jay, I'm coming to you, but let me just real quick. I'm looking for Venezuelans to fill that last spot. If you're Venezuelan in the request, let me know. But hey, Smitty, I'm Venezuelan, or however you want to, just put it in there. I want to get Venezuelan up. If we can't find a Venezuelan, I will allow someone in the request who supports what Donald Trump did. But let's go.
Smitty, drop me if you need a box. Smitty, you can drop me if you need a box. Just feel free, man.
Okay. Yeah. No, you good. Blue Jay, your thoughts on what Catalina said. I know, again, you said, hey, you know what, from your perspective and your family, race is not something that's important to you. What do you think about, do you feel like there's inequality in Venezuela, in regards to race or ethnicity? And do you feel like, well, let's stop there. What do you think about that? And then we'll continue the discussion.
I did have one question. I just want to make sure that I
go
heard
ahead,
it correctly.
Go ahead.
So, Carolina, did you say that you do support Chavez? Okay, so that's a great point there.
Yeah,
I
I'm
understand
an
why.
independent and a socialist. I absolutely support anti-imperialism. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So it does make sense on how you look at things, and this is the issue that we're having in Venezuela, because people that support Chavez are blindfolded, that don't see anything that happened because of Chavez. My dad lost it all, just to let you know, right? And then from Chavez, everything went downhill. And just to reiterate, I just want to focus on all the Venezuelan people specifically. Like, we, again, don't support the administration here. The only thing is that we're happy is that Maduro is out of Venezuela, and we're just having hope and faith that things will transition to better. And
what was your father's job?
I don't want to go that far. I just want to put my opinion.
And with respect, it matters, because the exact same people who are spinning this narrative about Venezuela are the same people as the Gusanos, the white Cubans who left Cuba when Black people got civil rights in Cuba due to the revolution, and when they kicked out the imperialists and started to focus on Cuban people and interests. And that's exactly what happened.
Carolina,
it's the same story.
I'm just talking about, again, my opinion, because my family's Venezuelan. I'm Venezuelan. That's all I'm talking about. I don't want to.
Okay, let's do the show. It's turned into a discussion. But Blue Jay, I hear your point. Let me go to facts, and then Covey. Actually, let me go to facts, and then Covey. Sister, give me a second. I want to get Anna's opening thought. But facts to the point that Blue Jay made and Maria made around, hey, this guy was a terrible guy. Doesn't this justify removing him because of what he did to the Venezuelan people? What do you think about that, bro?
So I of course can't speak to Blue Jays or Maria's experience being of Venezuelan descent or being from Venezuela, but what I'm hearing is a lot of hopes and prayers and dreams that the current dictator fascist, who's the president of the United States, removing another dictator fascist, and suddenly we're going to get democracy. I guess that's what I'm not hearing. I mean, this is the examples that I gave earlier, and I think the archivist said it very, very well. I don't know your name, archivist, so I'll just call you the archivist. He said it well. Like, we don't have a track record where this has ever worked. Now, I understand the immediate response is Maduro bad. He should be removed from power, but replace him with what? I mean, again, our government has made the public statement that we're going to run Venezuela for how long? To
Well,
what end?
they're supposed to run
Can I
it
please
until
finish?
they
Can I,
transition.
can I please finish, Blue Jay? Thank you. Again, the argument is that's what we've been told before. We're going to just run this until at some set time. We get these promises all the time in our country that things are going to change, and it never happens. So I don't want you to get your hopes up. I would like you to look back at United States history of regime change and find an example where it's ever worked. I don't want you to be thinking that things are suddenly going to get better. They're not. Don't forget, we destabilized your country in the first Trump administration, which led to a massive influx of Venezuelan immigrants to our southern border. We've done this before. It's not going to work.
Thank you, brother. All right, let me go to Anna. Anna, your opening opinion. I'm glad we got another Venezuelan up. I'll get one more up. We'll let somebody go here in a second. But Anna, your opening thought to what's going on in.
Well, first off, I just wanted to say hi to everyone, and I hope everyone's having a great day.
Thank you.
I myself am Venezuelan. I was born in Venezuela, moved to the U.S. when I was around 5 years old, and have been living here ever since as a legal U.S. citizen along with my family. And my entire family still lives in Venezuela. Grandparents, aunts, nieces, nephews, cousins, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I know firsthand the issues that people face in Venezuela because it comes directly from my family and people that are closest to me. I full-heartedly support what happened yesterday to Maduro, and I believe that while there is no correct way to do it based on the bounty that he had on his head from previous charges here in the States, I do believe that that is one step into furthering the liberation of Venezuela from a ruthless dictatorship that has lasted 27 years.
Okay. Do you feel? How do you feel to what Bax said around that the U.S. is going to, as Donald Trump said, run Venezuela? And do you feel optimistic that there will be regime change that will be positive, or how do you feel about that piece of it? That you have someone from another country, a president of another country, saying that they're going to run Venezuela for an indefinite period of time. How do you feel about that piece of it?
Like I said, I don't believe there's any good way to go about the situation because, frankly, there's going to be issues all throughout whatever process they decide to move forward with. But I believe that in the future, we may see something where we find a good solution for the people of Venezuela along with the U.S. Because I do agree with people saying that the U.S. is doing this in their own favor as well. Rightfully so. I mean, you can't disagree with that. That's pure fact. But I also do believe that we will do whatever in our power to find someone that can handle this current situation and future situations properly.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Let me go to Covey. What do you think about what Anna just said? That, hey, you know what? This guy had to go. Now we've got an opportunity to hopefully, have someone to run the country in a way that will benefit all of Venezuela. What do you think about that, sis?
What power? I'm so sorry. What power do you have? Nothing. You got a foreign country coming in there telling you they're going to run the place. What power? You said we'll use our power to build our... What power, ma'am? Clearly what we saw right now is you guys have absolutely zero power. You have zero power. You have zero control. You're literally just sitting ducks. And other people are making those decisions for you. A foreign country from a different continent decided to bomb your country in the AM, and then after that, kidnap your president, who's a dictator. I'm not a Maduro fan, okay? I'm not sitting here telling you that he's a good guy, but you have no power. I don't know why people have this illusion that you have power. You have zero power. The only power you have right now is literally just being a sitting duck, nothing else. So now, before you were led by a Venezuelan dictator, and now you're being led by a foreign dictator. That's it. That's it. Trump is a dictator. And now you have, before you were led by, can Giovanna please mute, by the way?
Oh, Giovanna, yeah, I just brought up. Can you please mute? And I'm going to come to you here in 1 second. Okay. Thank you so much.
So before this, they were being led by a dictator of their own nationality, and now they're going to be led by a dictator of another nationality. So again, I don't know why they're sitting here thinking that you don't have any power. You have zero, absolutely no power at all. Okay. Another thing I wanted to say was, me saying this does not mean I defend Maduro. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and take away maybe the grievances that Venezuelans might have with Maduro, right? But you know who else also has a lot of grievances? North Koreans with Kim Jong-un. Why isn't Trump toppling him if he actually is such a humanitarian, right? Why doesn't Trump just go in there and topple Kim Jong-un? You know who else also has some grievances? Russians with Putin. Why doesn't Trump go there and topple Putin? Why does Trump go around praising a lot of dictators? Why does Trump, and plus, you guys are talking about criminality. This guy, Trump, has 34 felonies under his belt and was literally caught on Epstein's Island raping children. This is the guy who has morality? I'm sorry, I'm confused. The guy who has morality is a man with 34 felonies who raped his first wife and buried her in his golf course, who raped a bunch of children on Epstein's Island, who sexualizes his daughter, and who praises dictators all the damn time. That's the guy who has morality to rule over your country. Another thing as well, by the way, Netanyahu is another criminal who is genociding people. Trump praises him all the damn time, actually invites him to America. You know who also is a genocider? The RSF that is genociding Sudanese people. Who had the RSF's younger brother, Hameti's younger brother in Washington, D.C.? America did. So America loves dictators as long as they're pro-America and as long as they sell their country out. So I am confused as to why you think this country is a humanitarian country. And also another thing that I wanted to say is an observation. Why am I only seeing white teens defend this invasion? Where are all the black Venezuelans? Where are all the indigenous Venezuelans? Genuinely, like, where are they? I want to hear from them. I want to hear from the black Venezuelans, from the indigenous Venezuelans. Why? I watched your live for the past 2 days, Smitty, yesterday and today. Mm-hmm. Every single person who came and defended American imperial, because that's what it is. It's colonialism. It's imperialism. It was an invasion. Was white. So where are all the people who are not white? I want to hear from them. Like, why are all these white teens who were born in like 2010 coming up here saying this? It's to me, it's just fascinating. I'm not gonna lie. This is just an observation.
I'm so glad you said it. I'm so
let me go up to Giovanna, and I don't know which way. I think Giovanna's. You said you were Venezuelan.
Yes.
You are Venezuelan.
Hi. Yes, I am.
Perfect. What do you think about what happened?
Okay, so I'm gonna respond some things first.
Okay, sure.
I'm white, of course, but I have aunts that are redheads. I had aunts that are black, and I just want to put out there that we don't have the same type of racism that you have here in the United States. I have lived here for 10 years, and I was like shocked when I saw the racism that you have in here. Like, we don't have that there.
Okay.
Real
quick,
so to be clear,
real
because
quick,
she's saying, I'm saying that because she's asking. Oh,
yeah, what? No, because I want to go to the point that you just said.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Can you tell me when you said you were shocked to see the racism here? What did you see that you felt was different here than in Venezuela?
I don't like Trump. I just want to clarify that. I don't like him.
Okay.
But we don't neglect people by their race. Like in every group in Venezuela, we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell me that without being. Have you been to Venezuela?
I have not. No.
Okay, so someone say, "Oh my God," you cannot tell me that I'm wrong if you have not been
How
I
many
to
don't think anybody
Venezuela
said.
like ever.
I didn't hear
how
anybody
Like
say
many
in
that.
how
every
many
group,
indigenous how many indigenous communities are there currently in Venezuela right now, Giovanna?
listen.
Okay.
Before
No, no,
Chavez,
no,
like on the
wait.
history.
I'm
No,
so
no, no.
sorry. Can I wait,
I'm going.
wait,
I'm
I'm so
going to
sorry.
respond that.
Hold on. So,
Okay.
I'm going to
Catalina,
respond that.
I know you want to get in. Let me just let her finish her
All
point to
right.
the.
Yeah, no, I'm going to respond that. Before
Okay, go ahead.
Chavez, like in the history of Venezuela, the country has been poor. Like the 90% of the country is poor, has been poor, like forever. Those indigenous people that you're talking about, they don't know about internet. They don't know about anything besides their poverty. That's our reality. So you are not going to find that anywhere because they are indigenous. They respect their like lifestyle. That's not gonna happen. It's not the same that happens here. It's two different worlds. I promise you, it's completely different. You're not gonna find that. It's not gonna happen.
Please.
We have places in Venezuela that we can go like do tourism, and we cannot speak the same language as them. It's not like the same as here. So you're not gonna find that. They don't mess up, they don't vote, they don't have any like
My
say.
God.
They don't have any say, and it's because of them. They don't want to. It's
So
not
real,
because of
real quick,
us.
let me make sure I understand what you're saying, Giovanna. Just, and I know Carolina, I know you want to come in. Let me just make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that the indigenous in Venezuela, it kind of, are separated because they want to be separated from the overall population? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they don't want to, and we respect that. That's what I'm telling you. When I came here, that I saw like the differences, the police brutality because of race, I was like shocked because we don't see that there.
Okay. Let me let Catalina respond, and then Giovanna, I'll come back to you.
Okay,
Let me let her respond to that.
So I love, part of me loves that they're proving me right every single time they come up here, and part of me is wanting to throw my phone out the window. So that is complete bullshit, and this is another example of invisibility of indigenous people. I'm so sorry. You're gonna stay quiet. Of indigenous people in Latin America, they have access to the fucking internet. They have been integrated into society. As a matter of fact, the 1999 Constitution of Venezuela allowed for a framework for indigenous
you're
political.
talking to a lawyer, a Venezuelan lawyer. What the fuck?
Giovanna, give me 1 second. Let me let Carolina finish, okay? I'll come back to you after. I promise.
Thank you. Allowed for the framework for indigenous political participation, which included reserved National Assembly seats for indigenous people. There are 30 predominant, but 50 distinct indigenous cultures in Venezuela, not 10. And even in 2020, the National Electoral Council attempted to change the rules to provide more delegate seats for indigenous people. Saying that they don't vote, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They sit up here and act like they are exempt from racism and white supremacy, that they don't perpetuate it in their own countries. I work with indigenous tribes. I've worked with the Guajiro in Venezuela. These people exist. They are modern people. Indigenous people, we are not fucking primitive. We are part of modern society. We vote. We live in the same spaces as y'all. We live in cities. We fucking have rights. We absolutely have representation. And it is because of people like her who perpetuate this myth that racism isn't as bad in Latin America as it is in the United States. Granted, ours is absolutely more blatant here. I will give you that. But this is exactly how they get away with it. By coding the language the way that they do, by infantilizing us the way that they do, and treating us as if we're not part of their society. They absolutely are. And that is why I second what Kofi was saying. Please, where are the Black and indigenous Venezuelans? Because I am so goddamn sick of you colonizers getting up here when y'all are the descendants of the bastards who invaded our land in the first place and thinking that you can speak for the people who are the most marginalized in this region. This is insane at this point, and I'm trying not to lose it, but I am so tired of people talking about indigenous people as if we are relics of the fucking past or as if we are stuck in time. They absolutely vote. They hold National Assembly seats in that country. This is disgusting, blatant racism from her.
Okay, let me do this, y'all. So Giovanna, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, okay? So to address Carolina's point, again, please tap the screen. Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. Listen, okay, real quick before Giovanna goes. Okay, yeah, give me 1 second.
No,
Give me 1 second. I got one more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. Give me 1 second. So please listen, guys. Okay, if you don't like what someone's saying, you're like, hey, you know what? I really can't stand what I'm gonna use Covey because it happened to her. I hate what Covey is saying. It's misinformation, blah, 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 blah. Put it in the chat. Tag Ahmad. Tag me. Okay? I will address it. Please do not report this person, this content creator. Give her an opportunity to address what you don't like. Okay, now if you just don't like her, then maybe you should leave the live, right? Okay, there's plenty, 1,000 other lives talking about this. Okay, but please don't do that. It's not fair to her. It's really not fair to you because you don't get her an opportunity to respond. Okay.
No, it's fine. You know what? It's fine because
Go ahead.
I have been fighting with the same mentality as her for 26 years. I understand what you're saying, but it's not the reality. They can vote. Yes, they don't do that or they don't count it because we don't have that legality in Venezuela. That's what I'm telling you. You're not gonna find that. You're not gonna find because it's not happening. That would be awesome, but it's not happening. It's not happening. You're not gonna find that. I understand what you're saying, and I will hope that everyone can have like a voice or a choice, but we didn't have that, so you're not gonna find that. Not gonna happen. We didn't even have food to eat. I lost family. I had family that was incarcerated. It's not the same reality that you wish or that you hope. You're not gonna find that in Venezuela. That's why we are happy because it's in 26 years, this is the best thing that has happened to us politically, not in reality. We don't know what's gonna happen. I'm scared. I'm super scared, but I cried yesterday because I was able to see light, not because Trump, not because I fully trust America. It's because we have one less of them. I understand your point of view, but it's not the reality and you're not going to find it. And you are not going to understand it because you are so blessed that you didn't have to lose family. You didn't have to see what can, you did. Yeah,
Did you
you're
just
blessed.
call me blessed as
You're
an indigenous woman where white people are still occupying my land, where my people have been decimated
It's
to 2%
not
of
about
the
race.
population on
Carolina,
my own land? Do
Carolina
not
is
ever
not.
open your colonizer mouth to call me blessed
What
again.
colonizer? I have to run away from my country. I'm not saying that you're blessed because of racism. You are 100% right that some things needs to be changed. But I'm talking about blessed, about food, of my reality. You cannot change the way that I see my reality because I saw family that had to go to do lines outside for days just to get gas, just to get toilet paper, just to get food. I'm talking about that part of reality. Two things can be true at once. I'm not talking about racism. I'm talking about why we had to live there. At the last time that I was there, I had my period. I couldn't buy something for me because
We lost you, Giovanna.
national ID number was not able or was not permitted to buy that on a day. You get me? I'm talking two different. It's not the same thing.
So real quick, you guys. Let me do this, y'all.
It's not the same.
Real quick. So I got your point. Let me go to facts real quick. And brother, I do need your spot. But if there's anything else you want to say, would love to hear it, brother.
I'll just thank you. I appreciate you being here. Good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I'll see you on your. Hey, if y'all don't follow facts, by the way, okay, one of the top, in my opinion, one of the top 3 political content creators on this app. Period. I don't care what side you're on. One of the top 3. Okay, so hopefully y'all follow facts. He's incredible. He's always been an advocate for us. So love you, brother, man. You be safe. I'll see you on your live here in a second.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me go to Covey real quick, and then we're gonna go to James. Go ahead, fam. I gotta check something.
Can I get the big screen, please? If that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, give me a second.
So I was listening to Giovanna speak, and also Blue Jay, I think, before that, or anybody else before that. So I was like, let me look into this, right? Because I'm like, let me look into what they're saying. Literally, the first article I find when I Google racism Venezuela, pro Venezuelan, it says denying that racism exists in Venezuela is a symptom of white privilege. Okay. And then if you look into it, hold on. It literally says, Felicien, she's quoting like a professor, by the way, in Venezuela. Felicien believes that denying that racism exists privilege, which here we might call mixed race privilege. Some of that denial has been seen markedly in recent times in which our anti-racist mobilizations have failed to be remotely compared to something. And then also, she talks about the problem is that structural racism persists.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. I'm not.
Absolutely. Let's just let her finish.
Don't interrupt me, please. Respectfully, because you tried to respectfully. Don't interrupt me. Respectfully. The moment you said redhead when you were talking about different races, I already knew you had absolutely no idea what you were talking about. Okay, I didn't know redheads was a race. Respectfully. It says here, the problem that structural racism persists through sets of mechanisms that represent oppression. And then I also looked into another study. Literally says here, extrajudicial unalivings in police confronting the legacy of racism and poverty. The United Nations literally has multiple reports on racism in Venezuela. I don't know why there's gaslighting. I'm going to go back to what I said, Smitty, okay? I'm not a person who's sitting here defending Maduro white. And every white person who has done that has actively led to the erasure of people. The people yesterday, the people today, the white people have sounded like white people anywhere else. They have come up and they've said, we don't see race. We were not raised to see race. I actually only see human. Actually, I have a, my cousin's neighbor's dog is black. Therefore, I'm not racist. Okay. The other day I went to the supermarket and the cashier that served me at the supermarket was an indigenous person. Therefore, I can't be racist. That is the excuses that I've been hearing here. And my question is, where are the black and indigenous Venezuelans? I want to hear from them. I don't want to hear from a person who has black nail tips. I don't want to hear from a person who has an indigenous ancestor. I don't want to hear from the people who had a black dentist one time when they were 10 years old. Therefore, now they can't be racist. Slave masters had black children. Okay? Slave masters had black children. Your proximity to a black or indigenous person literally says nothing about you and how you are as a person. Please stop tokenizing people who are not here.
Okay.
Where are they?
All right, let me do this, y'all. Giovanna, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I got you. I saw what you said, bro. I got you. Don't worry. So Giovanna, I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond, as I promised. And then I want to go to Patriotic, and then I want to go down to James. Okay, so Giovanna, Patriotic, and then James. So Giovanna, your response to what Cubby's saying and to what Carolina's saying about racism. Oh, hold on.
I don't think I'm racist. I have never judged someone by their skin. I judge them by their action. And if that is not racist, I apologize. But what I'm trying to say that the issue in Venezuela right now is not about racism. It's about living. It's about necessities. I understand your point of view and I understand what you're saying. And I'm going to give you that 100% because I don't know how to say that in English, but I don't have the whole knowledge that you have. And I'm so sorry for that. But my issue with Venezuela and 70, maybe 80% of Venezuelans, it's the living. It's the things that we used to live when we lived there, and the things that we saw, and honestly, we're still seeing our families there, about the living. It's about the insecurity. It's about the criminals. It's about the food. It's about the basics needs. I understand, again, as I said to Carolina, your point of view, and you're 100% correct, but I just want you to understand that two realities can be true at once. What you're saying, after what you said, it may be 100% true, but what I'm saying, it's 100% true also. Like what we used to live there, what Venezuelans used to live there in poverty, the necessities, it was awful. I used to protest, and I'm sorry if I'm saying incorrectly.
No, you're good.
I used
You're good.
to protest,
Yeah,
and
you're
I
good.
saw people get killed like next to me by that, because what we had to live there. I didn't flew my country because I wanted to, it's because I needed to. And we are 8 million, maybe more, outside of our country right now because of that. And that's what I'm trying to explain, that the reason that we are happy right now is because, yes, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's worse, but we haven't had 24 hours of happiness. See, like for 26 years, it's two different things that we're talking about.
Okay. Let me do this. Thank you for that, Giovanna. Let me go to Patriotic Latina, and then Andrea Crystal. I saw you. Let me go to Patriotic Latina. Okay. And then I want to go to James, and then I want to get again. Please let me know how y'all feel in the chat as well about what's going on. But I want to let Patriotic Latina have an opportunity to speak. And by the way, Giovanna, please, if you want to say something in Spanish or any other language, this is a platform that supports that 100%, right? 100%. Okay, so please feel free. If you're like, I don't have the word in English, say it in Spanish or say it in whatever language you would like. Patriot Latina, thank you. Welcome to the panel. What are your thoughts on this?
Hi. First of all, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to say here that I am so glad today in age that I am not a Democrat, because it must be exhausting being a Democrat in the world like today, where we are literally topping down not dictators. We're talking about narco terrorists who invaded a country and tortured its people and allowed one of the richest countries in Latin America to become a dump and a trash can for Latin America. And they are defending a narco terrorist. Instead, the first thing they do is cry racism. Why the hell is everything about race and racism with the Democrats? Now you have Democrats here, liberals, bringing over the racism card once again in a country like Venezuela. Venezuelan people don't give a shit right now for the past 20 years about race. They've been eating dogs. They've been watching their children starve, their family slaughtered, people being tortured to death. And these are all facts that you could literally go Google facts. They do not care about oil. Who do you think had the oil this whole time? You think the Venezuelan people have been benefiting about having oils and minerals for the past 20 years? If you go ask any Venezuela living in Venezuela right now who is a victim of the regime of Maduro, if they give a shit about anybody's race, 98% of them don't give a shit about nobody's race. So the fact that all y'all have to do is bring race into the mix lets me know that you're mentally unstable. Like you're literally mentally unstable, especially when somebody from Venezuela comes on this panel and tells you, you guys, yes, we have a race issue in America and all of Latin America. Yeah, we have a racism issue. That's a fact. Everywhere in the world, you're going to have a racism issue. But you are blessed that you live in the United States of America and you're not eating dogs in Venezuela. And this woman gets offended because she told her that she's blessed to live in the United States of America instead of Venezuela. That lets me know everything I need to know about your opinion doesn't matter moving forward. And then you have another one coming on the panel telling you, I don't want to hear from no white people. I don't want to hear from no regular people. I want to hear from the indigenous people of Venezuela who make up less than probably 10% of the population. That's who I want the opinions. That makes you a racist. When
Okay, so real quick.
you don't want to hear somebody's opinion based on their race, that makes you a racist.
Okay, so real quick. Okay, so let me let them respond to what you're saying, Patriotic. So let's do this.
I just want real quick, first of all, why are y'all talking about race when we have people being tortured and dying of starvation in Venezuela?
So so real quick, I think you completely made that point. Let me let them respond, or else it'll just get to a point where they
I
might
just briefly
forget.
respond.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
I promised James an opportunity. So let me do this because I know it's gonna get conversational. Let me let James come in, and then Kevin, Carolina, I'm gonna try to work you into. And Patriotic, I'll give you an opportunity to respond as they respond.
Yeah, please do. Okay.
All right. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
This is a person whose first line in their bio is Jesus. And shame on you for trying to question what somebody else is talking about when you aren't operating from the red word of the Bible text, right? The book of Matthew that says, for they were hungry and I gave them food. They were thirsty and I gave them something to drink. They were strangers and I let them in. Yet the president that you're up here pontificating about has deported 8,000 people to the country that only is eating dogs. And so you want me to believe that you came up here in good faith, that you care about what's happening to the people in Venezuela? You're mistaken. 6, the law is clear here, and I've said this time and time again. 18 USC 1602 clearly states, without exception, that the actions undertaken by this administration are illegal. They are illegal. It doesn't matter if I like it. It doesn't matter if I love it. It doesn't matter. Good, bad, indifferent. The rule of law in this country is what keeps us away from being like the countries we claim to be trying to protect. Trump is no better than Maduro. No better at all. He violated the expectations of the law. He violated the expectations of the Constitution. The framers in the Federalist Papers talk clearly about why Congress was listed first in our Constitution. Why it was listed first. Because the president, the executive, is more inclined to go to war, to engage in hostilities, which is why the power was afforded to Congress. This gentleman did not get the authority of Congress. He did not have their assent. And moreover, it is a violation of our law, not international law, our law. The Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act expressly precludes us from arresting a sitting head of state and trying them in U.S. courts. So now you've made a damn buffoon of us. And the question is, are the courts going to allow it to happen? Because he might have gone and got him. What is the court going to say? And the question that everybody should be wondering right now, with the separation of powers and the constitutional crisis that this creates, is if the court tells him you have to release him, what are y'all going to do? Is the president of the United States going to comply with an order of a court of competent jurisdiction, or are you all going just to take him outside and batter him to death? That's the question that we need to be asking. But to suggest that you came up here to discuss the final points of the law and to assert that you care is laughable at best and stupid at worst. You don't care about the Venezuelans because you aren't saying a damn thing. Matter of fact, in your bio, you're talking about immigration. Okay? So you don't care, deporting people. You don't care about Venezuelans. What you care about is coming up here to try to pontificate as if you're some moral authority to the rest of us. And quite frankly, you are not madam.
All right, let's do this. So patriotic, I'll give you a minute if you want to respond to that. And then I want to go to, since you mentioned Covey and Carolina, I want to give them both an opportunity. And then after that, we'll go to Anna and then Giovanni. And then we'll rotate as well. So patriotic, if you would like, you don't have to, if you would like a minute to respond to James.
Yeah, the only laughable thing in this panel right now is a liberal thinking that he could educate me on Bible. Okay, that is the laughable thing. A liberal has no ground whatsoever to educate me on anything that has to do with the word of God, because y'all don't know the first thing about Jesus. Okay, Jesus protected borders. Jesus protected innocent children. Jesus was for the rule of law and justice. And you want to talk about what Trump doing is illegal? First of all, that's not a fact. What Trump is doing is not illegal. Don't do your research. It takes 5 minutes or less to find out that what he's doing is not illegal. And second of all, don't talk to me about what.
So, Moz, please check with me before you drop people. Okay, I get you. Okay, but please check with me. Let me go to.
Where'd she go, Smitty?
Okay. Let me go to. Okay, this is in my order a little bit. Okay. Let me go to Anna. Anna, go ahead.
Wait, can you bring her back?
Yeah, because I think me and Covey deserve to be able to respond to her.
Yeah. Can you bring her back, Smitty, if that's okay? I don't want to control your panel, but you know.
Okay.
She was disgusting with what she's saying, but I mean,
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. But real quick, patriotic. Okay, and I should have said this with James too. Okay, religion gets very uncomfortable, right? When we start talking about religion, okay, and what Jesus was and what Jesus wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get into a religious debate. I'm just saying, I'm
let's maybe move on to that.
He brought Jesus. I didn't bring him.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Into the conversation.
I didn't say anything when he said it. That's fair.
I just want to say real quick, that was the one thing that I thought he wants to educate me on Jesus. That's what I was refuting back. Now I want to come back to the real problem at hand. Okay. You are discussing Venezuela, right? That's what I came here to discuss. He wants to get into a religious debate. We could do that another time. But for now, I want to review Venezuela, okay? If you go ask the Venezuelan people right now, if they want to be ruled over by Maduro and their narco state, or if they want to be ruled by the United States and let them take all their oil, as long as they are able to feed their family, as long as they're able to live freely in their country and you have a normal way of life, the majority of Venezuelan people will give up anything and everything that they can to be ruled by Trump, if that was the case. So don't come over here telling me that Trump is worse than Maduro, because last time I checked, nobody in the United States is being ruled by a narco-terrorist torturing people like Maduro was. So for you to compare Trump to Maduro is an insult to Venezuelans. It's an insult to my people, and you're just downplaying their suffering. So have some respect.
Okay.
Girl, you and your respect can go to hell.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let's not go personal. Let me go to Covey. Covey, I think, wants to respond to something that patriotic you said. Go ahead, Covey. Go ahead.
First of all, I don't want anybody to think that I don't support freedom of speech, because I did want her to be up here, even though I disagree with every single thing that she says. I just wanted to clarify that. Second of all, I'm not supportive of Maduro. I don't know why that is being addressed. I am very, very confusion. Okay. I'm not sitting here supporting Maduro. What I'm saying is America should not invade a sovereign nation. Is everybody okay? I am confusion. I'm genuinely so confused that people are perfectly fine with America, a dictatorial T-state within itself, invading a sovereign nation. I don't know why people are sitting here talking about how bad Maduro is. Again, I am not sitting here trying to tell you that Maduro is not a dictator, okay? If you're Venezuelan, you have every right to have grievances towards a person who ruled over you, right? But the thing is, how is Iraq doing? Genuine question. How is Iraq doing? How is Libya doing? How is all of Central America and South America doing? How are all the countries that America intervened in doing? America has engaged in 300 to 400 military interventions historically. It has invaded one way or the other 90 to 100 countries since its inception. How are these countries doing? Genuine question. Like, for anybody to sit here and turn around and critique, let's say, for example, Russia for invading Ukraine and Russia getting, genuinely, I don't know why Russia got sanctioned. Why did it get sanctioned? Why did they get punished? If you guys think that it's perfectly fine for a sovereign nation to be invaded, why did Russia get punished? And if America actually cares about like holding like leaders accountable, why is George Bush not held accountable when he has destabilized multiple countries? George W. Bush Jr., by the way. He literally unalived 1.5 million Iraqis. Why wasn't he held accountable? Why wasn't George Bush Sr. held accountable? Why wasn't Bill Clinton held accountable? Why wasn't Obama held accountable for destroying Libya? America has literal terroristic presidents who go around implementing dictators everywhere they go, and they never get held accountable. And these people are sitting here justifying imperialism. And this is why I brought race into it. Because it's very fascinating to me that the only people I am seeing sitting here justifying imperialism are the white people. I genuinely want to see if the black Venezuelan, they don't even have to support Maduro. They could be anti-Maduro. But do they justify being ruled over by America? Because that's what you haven't removed the chains, by the way, right? I'm going to land with this one. You have not removed the chains. What you have removed is the person like controlling the chains. Now you've removed your Venezuelan chains and you've just put on American chains. So at the end of the day, you're not liberated. You're not free. You just have different chains, American chains.
Let me thank you for that, Giovanna. Yeah, let me let Anna. I got you, Catalina. I got you.
Make a modern announcement.
Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me a second. Y'all know how I am very particular about the order. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Give me 1 second. We haven't heard from Anna in a while, so I just want to get Anna's perspective on what you've heard. But I also just want to ask a question. Giovanna, you might know this, or somebody else might know this. What are the demographics of Venezuela? I think somebody said 10% are indigenous. Is that correct? And then black Venezuelans and then white Venezuelans. I just out of curiosity, so we can understand, what the demographics are. Do you know that, Anna?
Yeah, so I actually have this information pulled up from a while ago. So I think, as Carolina mentioned earlier, about indigenous tribes, so about approximately 2.8, so around 3% of Venezuelans' total population is indigenous. And then people that identify as of Black or African descent, it's only around 3.6%. And for
3% indigenous, 3.6% Black.
Correct. And the indigenous,
okay. Wow.
I'm just quoting my sources because I could be wrong, and I want to be enlightened by that if I am wrong. But my sources are for the indigenous percentage. It's from the International Work Group for Indigenous People.org. And then from the Black Venezuelan percentage, it's from the Minority Rights Group.
Oh, wow. I thought it was much. That's interesting. Okay.
It's not accurate, and I'll explain why when it's my turn.
Okay.
Majority of Venezuelans, we are mixed.
Okay.
Can I make a small modern announcement?
Yeah, go ahead, James, and then we'll go to Catalina, and then I'll get patriotic. I'll give you another chance to respond to. Don't worry. Go ahead.
So if you all are here, tap the screen, continue to share the live out. There's plenty of opportunity at 1,300 people in here. And I also want to say huge congratulations to the host who just cracked 80,000 followers.
Thank you.
Please, if you're not hitting the follow button, hit the follow button. I can't think of a better person to have made this milestone. He is an amazing creator. So if you haven't hit the follow button, hit the follow button. Send him some gifts. Clear those money guns. Like Smitty's like a stand-up guy. This is the only time I'm saying something nice about you, by the way. Is a stand-up guy. He's amazing. So get your daily heart me. Make sure you're hitting that follow button because Smitty deserves all the good stuff.
Thank you, man. All right, let me go to, and I appreciate all of you guys, by the way. And even if I don't agree with everything that's said, I appreciate a respectful, honest discussion. So much appreciated. It validates, I think, the fact that a lot of us here in America, at least, want to be educated and want to learn. And so you guys are amazing. So thank you for that. Carolina, and then we'll go, Patrick, I'll give you an opportunity to respond. Go ahead, Carolina.
So I'm going to address the population issue in just 1 second. I do want to point out what Patriot said, which, first of all, for you and all the rest of the magabichos, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a socialist. So learn your facts before you start throwing around words. Anyway, this is just completely asinine. The magabichos who come up here and defend Trump knowing that he would never pick y'all. It's kind of crazy. But for you even to make the comment that you did about making this about race, once again, in the United States, guys, what demographic constantly complains about us making about race? White, which is proving my point that white is white no matter what country you're in and no matter what language you speak. White privilege exists. The fact that you even had the audacity to say that indigenous people are less than 10% of the population of Venezuela and therefore shouldn't fucking matter, that this shouldn't be discussed. It's the same thing that people do to us in the United States. We are less than 2% of the population. What you should be more concerned about is the fact that indigenous people have that low percentage on their own fucking land. The indigenous people of Venezuela are the original people, and they've been decimated to less than 10%. And you're trying to use that if it's a gotcha moment. That just proves how pervasive and disgusting the racism is and the white supremacy is in that country, in that region, and in this hemisphere, and in the world entirely, that you guys think that reducing us to such a small amount is the impetus or the reason for justifying why we shouldn't have a voice in what's going on. The reason why I continue to bring it up is because, once again, look at the demographics, look at the images and videos of people who are celebrating the United States invading Venezuela. They are mostly white Venezuelans who are in the United States. Now look at what the people look like who are out protesting in the streets of Venezuela, demanding Maduro's return and demanding the exodus of U.S. troops. They are black and indigenous. That is why it will continue to matter. So when it comes to those population estimates, you're correct. Venezuela's indigenous population, meaning those who remain in their indigenous communities, is about 2 to 3%. If you add in those who are of indigenous descent but still excluded from the indigenous rights, but also excluded from the mestizo class, you're adding about another 5%. When it comes to the black population, those who identify as negro only, yes, that is about 3 to 4%. If you add in the pardo and the mulatto or the other terms that they have there, you're jumping up to 15%. So this is another example of how they use statistics in erasure of black and indigenous people in that country, because they make very specific categories. So they can easily tout something like saying, oh, only 3 to 4% of Venezuela are black, not including those who come from Afro-indigenous communities, not including those who may have some European ancestry, but are predominantly of African ancestry. This is exactly what the casta system does and how it remains alive today. So I am just going to say, I am sick of it. I second it. I'm tired of white South Americans, regardless of where you come from, white Latinos, Hispanics, coming up here and talking about this with absolutely no nuance, and then complaining that we're making it about race. Until y'all exit the Western Hemisphere and go back to fucking Europe, it's always going to be about race.
All right, let me do this. Patriotic, if you'd like to respond to that. And then I'm probably going to cycle 1 or 2 people. But Patriotic, any response to that from Carolina, if you would like. And if you want, Patriotic, you can obviously talk and go back to the topic, but I want to give you an opportunity either way. Go ahead, whatever you would like.
I just want everybody to realize how they have no strong argument other than race. And when that doesn't work, they put words in your mouth that you never said. I never said the indigenous people's voices don't matter. As a matter of fact, somebody in this panel was the one that said, if you're white, your opinion doesn't matter. I refuted that by saying it doesn't matter what race you are, your opinion matters. I refuted that. And I said that they want voices from only 3% of the population, but they don't want to hear the other 98% of the population. That's exactly what I said before. What I'm saying here is that race in Latin America, it's not a freaking issue. I'm Latina. A lot of Latinos will tell you the same exact thing. All of us, half of us in our family are colored people, half of us are indigenous, half of us are from everywhere. We white, we black, we don't give a shit about race in Latin America. Doesn't matter how much you want to make it a race issue in our countries, it's never going to be. That might be a race issue in your small bubble of victim mentality, but in the real world, that doesn't work. It's not about freaking race. It's about affording food for your family. It's about freedom and respect and a way of life. It's not about freaking race. Nobody in freaking Venezuela is racist. There are some racists everywhere in the world, wherever the hell you go. You have racists in freaking Africa. It doesn't matter where you go. You're always going to have some type of racism, but that doesn't make up the big issue in the majority of our countries. That is not an issue. It's not even an issue here in America as much as you would like it to be. It freaking isn't, because it's you bitches. You're the only ones that was talking about race.
You
The
what?
majority of people don't give a crap.
Is
All
you
the
what?
people over here,
Is you what?
You calling me a mami bicho? You calling
I
me
called
all
you a
these
maga
names?
bicho. Did you just call me a
You
bitch?
calling me?
Did you just call me a
all
bitch?
these- All I said was that race does not matter as much as you want it to.
Okay, let's do this, y'all. Let's do this, y'all.
Everyone has a voice, not
Okay,
just because
okay.
I'm white, or I'm not even white. I'm Latina, and you want to make it like I'm white and I'm a
Okay.
magabicho. And
Okay,
Latina's
so
not a race,
So
but I got you,
real
bitch.
quick. Please, let's not use any inflammatory, right, slurs. Everybody, all six of y'all, okay? Next time that happens, that's just going to be a drop, okay, period. All right? So that's one
Yes.
warning.
And I'm not here to insult anybody. I never call anybody no names. But the moment I start talking, they want to call me names. Like, I will write some respect because I want to respect you as well. So don't be calling me no names, because I'm going to, clap at the same energy.
Okay. Let me do this. I think Covey wanted to. Actually, you know what? Let me go back to Anna, because Anna, I'm gonna let you go, and then Giovanna. I think it's been a minute for you too. So I'm gonna go Anna, Giovanna, and but I want to let Anna. You get an opportunity to say whatever you would like. Final comment from you. Whatever you would like.
I really am trying to get everyone's perspective and everyone's point of view, and I truly just want to sit here and understand where everyone's coming from and where issue that is going on. And after looking into it and after hearing what Carolina had to say, I just have a question regarding like what you would like. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but like me as a white Hispanic person, because you're saying that you're not seeing any indigenous or any mixed or any other people other than white Venezuelans talking about this issue. I would just like to know what you would like me or other white Hispanic or white Venezuelans to do about that situation, because I'm really just trying to sit here and understand everyone's perspective at the end of the day, and I want to know more and I want to gain more knowledge about it. So I just want to know that part.
I mean, for starters, it's recognizing the privilege. It's because, as Kobe was pointing out, we were pointing this out. It's not just that only white Venezuelans are coming up here and, claiming to be celebrating and praising this invasion or whatever. It's the fact that every time we mention this, every single one of you have tried to dismiss racism as an issue in Venezuela and Latin America. Every single time you have undermined what we are talking about. I work with indigenous and Afro-Venezuelans in the country. I have, like I said, I'm going to put out a video later that's showing they are the ones in the streets protesting against this regime change and invasion. The reason why that matters is because this is how narratives are framed and how consent is manufactured. Because white people continue to benefit from white privilege in Latin America and here. There's a reason why the majority of Hispanics or Latinos who voted for Trump were actually Hispanics. They were white Latinos. They were not Afro and indigenous Latinos. And that continues to mess up our numbers. There's a reason why people from your country who immigrate to this country look more like you, and why people from Mexico and Central America look more like me as indigenous people. It's the same reason why the people who are being targeted in the streets under this administration's policies are Afro descent and indigenous descent. They're not going after white people. And so that's why this matters. So for starters, it needs to be recognizing the privilege and that you have been buying into the propaganda that race is not an issue in Latin America when it very much fucking is. And the next part is to start listening to those marginalized people from your own country. Because even those who are black and indigenous and who are not in support of Maduro, they are sitting there saying, we do not want Machado, who is a right-wing Zionist. They are saying we do not want the imperial United States invading our country and deciding our future. So you can be happy that Maduro's not in power. I don't even care. Like I said, he's incompetent. He did not live up to Chavez's expectations, in my opinion. He's fucking incompetent. He's terrible. But lying and calling him a narco-terrorist when we just literally pardoned one, lying about the reason why we're in Venezuela and acting like the United States gives a shit about any of y'all, that's where you need to start.
All right. Let me let Anna anything else you want to say in response? If not, I'm going to let you go. But if you want to respond to what Carolina just said.
I just honestly thank you for the insight, because obviously it seems as there's a lot of erasure going on, and I completely understand. And I don't want you to think that I think that way just because you've heard others on the panel today speak their opinions, because everyone here has a different opinion on every single situation, and you can't speak for what one person said for the whole group. I won't do the same for you, because I know you might have your own opinion, and I know James might have his own opinion about different things. And I just believe that everyone has it and everyone's entitled to. And I do hear 100% what you're saying, and I do think that there is a big race issue going on, not just in Venezuela, but all of Latin America, and it's an issue that should be addressed. But as of right now, the main issue going on is the issue of power and the dictatorship that has been occurring for the last 26 years in Venezuela. And I just want to understand why it's being mixed with things like race issues and indigenous issues, because these are issues that have been happening for years, even before this awful dictatorship in Venezuela. Okay. And I'm just glad that, I was able to get some insight from Carolina and Covey and everyone else on this panel, but still, being able to keep a respectful conversation going on without having to, diminish and, hurt other people's character and things like that for simply stating what they think.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
that, Anna.
I want to give someone else the opportunity to listen and speak and et cetera. And I just hope you guys all have a great day.
Yeah, Anna, thank you. I appreciate what you said. You take care. All right. So we'll let Anna go. Thank you, Anna, for coming up. Appreciate that. Sounds like Anna's opinion shifted a bit. So I appreciate that. I think that's what I hope all of us are here for, is to, if we hear something that resonates, even though we didn't come in thinking like that we can adapt and all that good stuff. So I'm going to let somebody else up. Again, I want to let another person from Venezuela, or if not, someone who does agree with what Donald Trump and the United States did in Venezuela. So I'll go through the request in 1 second here and get somebody up. But we're only at not even 270,000 likes. Come on, y'all. We got to do better than that. Let's continue to get the likes up. Okay, it's been a good discussion, heated at times, but that is to be expected. Okay, that's to be expected. I appreciate all of the panelists, okay, being here on this Sunday afternoon or morning, wherever you may be. Let me go to Giovanna. Giovanna, anything you want to respond to?
Say something after?
Yeah, after. Yeah. Go ahead, Giovanna. Anything else?
Yeah.
Or which one respond to? Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Giovanna.
Okay. Oh no, she said. Giovanna, did you say I should go?
Now y'all being too nice.
No, you can go. I can.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
We can learn.
Yeah, no. So I think again, I'm gonna like repeat what I said before, and this is something that is a very, very worrying for me personally, right? As a person who is from the global South as well. If people are perfectly fine in like 2025 with America just going and doing whatever it wants to do, is that what it's going to continue doing to like other countries now? So like now, if Trump says, I don't know, I don't like Iran's leadership, so is it going to go and do that to Iran? Is he going to like again, for me personally, when I'm sitting here, I'm not sitting here saying that like Venezuelans should be happy with Maduro or whatever it is, right? Like I'm not Venezuelan, therefore I'm not going to tell you the grievances that you have with your own leaders, right? The issue that I have is though this idea of being okay with American imperialism and trying to sugarcoat American imperialism as well. Because to me now, what this tells me is that America can just march into any country it wants to and do what it's doing, and then say that it's going to rule over said country. And that to me is it's very worrying to see how many people are perfectly okay with that. Does that mean it's going to do that to Greenland? Because we did hear Trump saying those things about Greenland. Does that mean, and if that's the question, why isn't the same energy given to Trump's allies who are genociding people? Like, why doesn't Trump march into Israel and remove Netanyahu? Why doesn't Trump march into the UAE and remove bin Zayed, who is actively genociding Sudanese people? Does that mean now Trump can just march into Canada and remove Carney because he disagrees with the Canadian government? Does that mean he will just get into Mexico and just like remove the Mexican government? Does that mean that now Trump can just do whatever he wants to do? Because clearly he doesn't care about international law. And the people here on like anybody who's defending this, they also don't care about law. Like, and I know, like I'm not like international law, like is they only there to uphold Western hegemony? Gruber, can you please mute? You have a lot, like, yeah, thank you. So, and I know that like international law is there usually to uphold Western hegemony and yada, yada, yada. We have all these different issues with it, true. But the thing is, what happens to I'm from like Eritrea, right? And a lot of people everybody knows that like a lot of people are unhappy with the leader there and all that stuff. And like Ethiopia is an ally of America. Does that mean now Ethiopia can just invade Eritrea? Under the guise of, oh, we're going to remove the dictator there. Does that mean now Ethiopia can just invade with the help of America? And I'm going to see people here like defending a genocidal regime doing that? Like to me, this is just a very scary way of manufacturing consent for the whole global South. That means the whole global South at this point is in danger. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Covey. We'll go to Giovanni, and then we'll go to Kike. So Giovanni, then Kike. Oh, sure. Yeah. Go, Giovanni. Yeah.
Beginning, that guys were defending Maduro, and that is to me like unforgivable. So I just like. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to clarify something that you said from Russia and Ukraine. I think the difference here is that Maduro lost the elections on 2024. Okay, so this is like again 26 years of issue, right? But I just gonna like do a.
We're losing you. Can y'all hear Giovanna? Is it just me?
You hear me?
Okay, yeah, Giovanna, you're in a bad.
Hello.
You're in a bad area.
Yeah.
Yes. There.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Now it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
So what? Oh yeah. So what I was saying is that I don't know if you I was going to like summarize 26 years, but on 2024, Maduro lost the elections by 70%. Okay, so the new president, that's my president for saying it in a way, the one that I wanted to vote, had to be like point out as president on January 2025. Maduro did that. Like he completely lost it, and he said, "I don't care that you won. I'm gonna still be the president."
Okay. Let me do this. Let me go to.
So he is not the legitimate president. He's not. he shouldn't be the president, and he should be like held last year. So again, as I said before, I don't agree with Trump. I'm not, but I just want you to understand, as a Venezuelan that has been suffering this for 26 years, racism exists, yes, but at this point is desperation because we have lost family, we don't have food, we don't have necessities, we don't have toilet papers. Yes, at some point, Venezuelans had to eat dogs. That happened. So we are celebrating. It's maybe that we have, in this desperation, take anyone besides Maduro and his clown, like, of people. It's not, I don't know what's going to happen, but as Carolina say, we need to hear her. And the minorities, yes, that's an issue and that has to be like taken care of. Yes, that's 100% right. But I need you to listen to us that we're suffering, the loss of people, I know that it's a big issue and I'm trying to explain it in a really bad English and I'm so sorry and in a really small time period. But I just want you to understand that at this point is not about racism, the desperation or the agreement of what is happening. It's not about what happened.
Okay. So
now. What you said about the people celebrating in Venezuela that are okay, that are not okay about what happened is because people in Venezuela are scared. We, in Venezuela, people cannot put something on the internet, on Twitter or in Instagram against the government because they get killed. That's happening. So you're not gonna have people celebrating in Venezuela. The videos that you're seeing, the people celebrating are outside Venezuela because we can't do it because we can express ourselves. I have a friend that is in Venezuela and he told me, as soon as I can celebrate and say something, I'm gonna do it. So I understand your point of view, but there's more and there's a why. Maybe you're not seeing what you want. I'm not saying that it does not exist, but maybe at this point you cannot see it.
So real quick. So Giovanna, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow, but we'll love to have you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to let Giovanna go. Thank you. We're going to go up to Kike, and I believe his username is Kike. Okay, y'all. So I saw. Okay, yeah. So that's your username, right? Kike?
Yeah.
Okay, just to clear that up. Okay, yeah. People were freaking out, but me being an LA Dodgers fan, we have Kike Hernandez, and we love Kike. So yeah, go ahead. So what do you think about what happened in Venezuela? Your perspective. What do you think?
I think this is amazing. I think 26 years of a dictatorship is finally over. Well, seems like it. Vice President of Maduro has gone to Russia, so I feel like we're gonna get out of this very soon. The perspective I have on the USA running Venezuela, I don't mind them having control over the oil reserves, just because when we first started out the oil industry, the USA was one of our biggest partners and actually helped us stabilize in the oil industry and actually was one of our first investors. So it got us to lead to the golden age of the 60s and 70s of our oil industry. So I actually don't have a problem with that. I want to learn deeper about what he means if he's selling our oil, if he's selling it and the USA is going to take that profit or Venezuela is going to take that profit. So also, I don't really mind, the point that why are we attacking Venezuela and why are we not attacking Iran? Venezuela is not going to do anything against the USA. Iran, it's a Middle Eastern country. They have connections. They have all these weapons. Venezuela doesn't have anything. I promise you, they don't have anything. All they have was a bunch of old guys in the freaking military, which are pro-dictatorship. They weren't going to do anything. So it was an easy attack, plus easy oil. Especially with the things that are happening between Israel and Iran. The gas prices are going to go up if Israel and the USA do anything to Iran. So it's better if they went into Venezuela and they took the oil so the oil prices can be stabilized. So that's kind of what I have to say. I'm very pro what Trump is doing with Venezuela, but...
Okay. Do you support?
Please ask him a question.
Real quick. Give me a second. So, Kike, do you support Trump overall, or do you just support what he did here? And you don't support?
I mean, I'm very 50-50 about him. I don't. He's a big liar, so not really.
Okay, fair enough.
Can I please ask him a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Kike, as a Venezuelan, are you saying that you are perfectly okay with another country controlling your resources?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it since they helped us go to the golden age in the 60s and 70s. They know how to handle the oil, and they took out a 26-year-old dictatorship, which led to famine and multiple deaths and capturings.
I'm not talking about the dictatorship. I'm not talking about that. Again, you don't have to. Like, I'm not sitting here defending Maduro. Please, I beg you. But Smitty, am I going crazy?
You're not like it.
I'm so sorry.
At this point,
I'm so sorry, Smitty.
The USA controlling our country is taking out the dictatorship. That's a big part.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second, Smitty. You're American, right? Yeah. Do you think any American person would be okay with let's say Russia or China controlling the American resources?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask a different question, but no, I don't think any American would be okay.
Do you think any American?
What major resources do you have, though?
No. Again, Kike, you are saying that you're okay with a foreign country controlling your resources, and I'm telling you right now. Ask any American. Like, I'm so sorry. Many Americans voted for Trump because they were pissed off that immigrants were even having a job within the U.S., let alone controlling a whole sector. Like, you're okay with a foreigner controlling a whole sector in your country. To me, is okay. It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually diabolical.
Well, you're gonna go insane if you ask multiple other Venezuelans because you're gonna say yeah.
No, so real quick, let's let Patriotic come in on this. I think Patriotic wants to say something, and then y'all tap the screen. We get to 310,000 likes. We'll get a sixth person up here. But Patriotic, your response. I think you want to come in and speak on this too. Go ahead.
I just want to be very clear here that these people arguing and saying the United States is going to rule over your people. United States is going to. I want you to understand something. That Trump went into Venezuela for lots of reasons, and he's not going into other countries just because he doesn't like their leader. It's not that. That's how I can't. This is why I cannot take you people seriously when you talk on certain issues, because you're either not educated enough to talk about these issues like normal people, or you just don't want to hear the truth. Trump went into Venezuela for a national security reason. Okay, Venezuela is in bed with Iran, Russia, and China. And in case you guys didn't notice, Venezuela is in a strategic point that if China, Russia, or anybody wanted to do harm to the United States, they have it perfectly to do really big damage to the United States. So yes, if you ask any Venezuelan right now, if they want to be ruled over by the United States, they will tell you 1,000,000% yes, because the last time Venezuela was actually, like you say, under a dictatorship that was in bed with the United States, they lived through the golden age. They were prospering. They were the #1 country in Latin America. And the moment that we cut ties with the United States in Venezuela and we allowed a dictator like Maduro, who got in bed with China, Iran, and Russia, the moment that Chavez came in and took out and cut our ties with the United States under the same socialistic points that you are giving here, Venezuela went to shit. So if you ask any Venezuelan right now if they want to go back and be ruled or be in bed with the United States, especially with someone who doesn't mess around like Trump, they're gonna tell you yes, because it's a matter of a national security issue for the United States. It's a matter of a national security issue for the Venezuelan people. Trump and I keep saying this, the fact that y'all keep putting Trump on the same category as dictators like Maduro and Iran and narco terrorists all over the world, it's mind-boggling to me how disrespectful that is to the people from Venezuela who are actually under a narco state. That is disrespectful, okay? They're not the same thing. It's a national security issue. Get your facts.
Let me get somebody patriotic to respond to that point. We're almost at 315,000 likes. Please tap the screen. I'll get another person up. I do want to get one more person that is supportive of what Donald Trump and the United States did, to Patriotic's point and to Kike's perspective as well. So if you are and you're in the request, let me know, and then we will cycle to get some folks who do not agree. I got Naquan as well. I'm gonna get you up. Give me a second as well. I'm gonna try to work you in as well. So, but what Patriotic? Oh yeah, real quick, fam. If you could just respond to what Patriotic said about Trump and Maduro. She's like, hey, look, you can't even compare these two people. It's completely wrong and disrespectful to compare those two people. What do you say to Patriotic's point?
Yeah. So that point, let me start with what they talked about, both of them referring to the golden age. And since she wanted to invoke education, just out of curiosity, Patriotic, what is your educational background in? Because you said we weren't educated. I just wanted to know real quick. Could you answer me real quick and then I'll finish?
Yeah, I said educate yourself on the topic that you're talking to.
Right. So just real quick, what's your educational background?
Oh, I don't have any education, but I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm married.
Fantastic. Okay, so thank you very much. So
my opinion doesn't matter.
No, it's okay. You're allowed to have an opinion. But since you wanted to call me uneducated, and I happen to be a cultural anthropologist who specializes in the colonization and destabilization of Latin America, I'm going to go ahead and speak on this topic because I think I might know something about it. Okay. So anyway, Yeah, sure am. Thank you. So, with that being stated, the fact that you guys referenced the golden era of Venezuela, you guys keep attributing to the fall of that with when Chavez took office. It actually happened before that, because what happened before that created the environment for Chavez to take back control of the oil reserves for his country happened under Bush administration. So the Bush administration had decided that they were going to their altering of the agreement was that we're going to offer you the dirt ass cheap price for your oil. And this is going to lead to protection and the expansion of the Monroe Doctrine and but that's what we're going to do. Chavez, it was already affecting the economy before Chavez took office. So when Chavez took office, he said, guess what? China and Russia are offering us market value. So fuck you to the United States. We're going to take back control of our natural resources and we're going to operate in the best interest of the Venezuelan people. Now, you cannot like Chavez all you want, but that's absolutely what happened. So that whole golden era, that fell before Chavez took office. And then the U.S. sanctions came. So if you're going to sit here and blame the people who are in power in Venezuela, you also need to attribute blame to the United States empire for exploiting these countries for their resources, for not trying to pay them market value, and for also implementing the sanctions which have devastated their economy for the common people in those countries, such as Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, Panama. We could go on, because this is not anything new to the United States empire, kidnapping world leaders and implementing right-wing puppets. This is just the same old game. Rinse and repeat, right? So I wanted to frame that first, because if we're going to talk about being educated on a topic, I think that you yourself should be educated on the topic and be able to pinpoint when that golden era fell. Additionally, I can absolutely definitively say that Trump is Maduro, and even worse for my people. Anyway, am I allowed to speak for my people? He's terrorizing indigenous people and black people in this country. He also is a criminal. So a one-person criminal who hasn't been convicted yet, but you're okay with the criminal leading our country who has been convicted and is continuing to commit war crimes that violate not only U.S. law, but international law. So, yeah, I think that we're well within our right to call a white supremacist fascist a criminal and just as bad as Maduro.
Okay. Go ahead.
Real quick. This is
go ahead. Real quick, and then I'm going to go James. Go ahead.
This is why American people would never take a socialist person seriously. She just told you guys that Trump is a criminal who's terrorizing her people. But last time I checked, there is no American right now being tortured to death by Trump and his administration. There is no America right now dying in a cell, being sodomized by the regime.
Then you need to check and see what's happening at the detention centers, because they are being brutalized.
That's not Trump, though. For you to come and tell us that we are on the same page with Trump as the Venezuelan people are with Maduro is disrespectful. And that's why you will
I didn't
never
say
be taken
you. I
serious
said we.
as a
Indigenous and black
socialist.
people.
No, you're
Indigenous
not.
and
That is
black
a
people. I
lie.
didn't say you.
That is
I
a
didn't say
lie.
you.
That is a lie.
I didn't
That
say
is a
you.
lie.
I
Okay,
didn't
hold
say
on.
A
you.
lie.
Okay, hold
That is a
on.
lie. That is a lie. And you are a liar because that's not happening here. You cannot compare the Venezuelan people to you indigenous people who are out here eating, drinking, and taking advantage of the United States freedoms
What
and
the
benefits
fuck did you
that
just
all of
say?
us are. That's a
Did you
lie.
just did you just say that indigenous people in the United States are taking advantage of US freedom? Are you motherfucking for real?
Yeah, all of us are
You're on my goddamn land.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. What are you talking about? I
You
literally said that
literally
all of
just
us
said
live in
that.
the United States are living under freedoms, and we are taking, all of us are taking, I don't know how to say it because, English is my second language. What I'm trying to say is that all of us are
Pues a mí me vale
benefiting
cuál idioma
from the
habla. Háblame en
freedom,
español entonces, pendejo.
from
Oh
the
my God. I'm gonna go on
freedom,
mute because I'm gonna lose my
from
fucking
the,
shit.
you see, this is what I'm telling you. They start calling you names when they get all riled up because they have their foundation crumbles. Your people, your indigenous people, black people are not being persecuted by the Trump administration. That is a lie. And if you want to be taken seriously by the rest of the American people about your issues that you actually care about, you need to start speaking on facts instead of lies. So get your shit straight before you come out here calling me names because I called you out on your lies because socialism, that's what they do. They lie. You're a liar.
Okay, let me do this. But again, let's not call people names, please, on both sides. Okay, let's not do that. Let me go up to Heather and then down to James, and then I'm gonna rotate. Covey, you gotta go. So give me a second, Heather. Covey's gotta go. So Covey, go ahead, fam. Closing statement, and then we'll go to Heather.
I'm sorry, I was gonna make another closing statement, but somebody's saying that black and brown people are not being targeted by Trump. I feel like that person is a lost cause. Can I get the big screen? I wanted to just show this before I drop, because I don't even know if a response is worth it, because that person is really a lost cause. I just wanted to show this, though, this article that I found. Because the New York Times, by the way, they released this article about how Trump decided to invade. And it says it was one dance move too many, according to new reporting by the New York Times. President Donald Trump made the decision to capture Venezuela's president after footage he interpreted as open mockery. He saw Maduro, and that was what made him decide that. This is according to new reporting. Imagine how crazy that is, Smitty. If you read the article, it literally says that Trump saw Maduro dancing on TV, mocking him.
That cannot be true. Are you swear? Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
It's in the New York Times. Hold on, one second. I'm so patriotic. Please don't interrupt me. Okay, you're a lost. I'm sorry. This is a lost cause, ma'am. Don't interrupt me, please. I'm not even going to address any of the stuff that you said, because you saying that black and brown people are not being targeted just makes me like it. Just when you realize that a person is way too lost to even legitimize their points and address them. Anyway. Yeah, I just got sent the article, and when somebody told me this, I was like, they have to be lying. And while that person above me was going on her little rant, I just went on New York Times to check the article, and I kid you not, they talk about Maduro dancing on what's called on TV about doing the Trump dance, pissed him off and pushed him over the edge. If this is not a temper tantrum that is being thrown, to me, it's actually crazy that the New York Times even reported on this. So anyway, thank you very much for letting me up. I appreciate you. I'm going to... I'm dropping for somebody else.
That laugh gets me all the time. All right. Thank you, Covey. All right, let me go to Heather. Heather, I've been wanting to get you for a minute. I'm glad you stayed patient with me in the request. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you. Yes.
Hi,
What do
I'm
you
from
think about this?
Venezuela. Yes.
You from Venezuela? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
What do you think
I'm
about
from
this?
Venezuela. I came here to this country. Sorry, my English is not perfect.
You're
I
doing
came
great.
here to this country like 7 years ago. No, 6. Sorry, 6 years ago. Yeah, I lived all my life in Venezuela. I grew up in Venezuela. My father was a military in Venezuela. My mom was a ecologist there. Um, it's very mixed feelings for us, you know. Of course, my family lived there. I did grow up in Venezuela when Chavez, started. My family was a socialist. We did believe, in Chavez at the beginning. So, we believe in all the programs. Actually, I worked for the government. My dad was a military intelligence for Venezuela. Obviously, this has not happened. These 27 years of socialism and this, how the people, became like against the government, don't start the first year. I worked for minorities programs, as an engineer. I graduated in Venezuela. We work for Funda Proal. We create homes, houses, and we create like medicines and all that for the minorities. But everything started change when the corruption, and then a lot of people in institutions, they don't have accountability. So when you start pulling up like, hey, I noticed this is not correct, or where is the money for this? Or we're supposed to have appeals for serving, people. It started, the money started, like getting other situations like corruption is when the people started, became like against the government. I want everyone very clear, like the government started 70%, like we believe in Chavez. We believe, I work for him. My dad was a military, we're happy. Like, and I understand, they expropriate companies and everything, but then it was no accountability. For example, this happening a lot, they just take the money away and then it's no justice. I have a cousin that was murdered, my brother-in-law was kidnapped, and you realize like, hey, what's going on here? So people started getting no believing in the system anymore. And when you realize the hospital they're supposed to build, there's no bill, and then you have a minister having 3 or 4 apartments in Paris, and the kids, studying in Canada, and then he sending, outside the country to live the best life, or taking the money. For that is when the people start, hey, what's going on here? What is the accountability? People start protesting. It was kind of hard for me to see a lot of poorness. And then because I work for them, like minorities trying to, these educational, programs, feeding people, and we have the money to that. And I do believe in the programs. I do believe, we're going to become a better. Actually, I work for Russian companies over there, helping people, building stuff, building house. And one moment was, hey, everything was stole. And nobody's accountable. So that was what happened there. And then that was progressive. That was
let me ask you, let me, and I think it's always good, right, for us to understand from your perspective exactly what happened. But let me ask you, do you support what happened with Maduro being?
It's a mix of feeling, because it's a mix of feeling because I think if this extremic measure was taken, I think Maduro was never get out from the country. So he never, because we try, actually, I was the person who voted for Chavez. We try again, we believe in him. And then when Chavez died and Maduro started, we call out like, hey, another election. And then from nowhere is no, I'm winning for these amounts, but you see the reality of people. You see how in the favelas or slums, the people were complaining about them. People starving again. People, hey, what's going on with our programs? And we don't have any money anymore. And we don't have this and that. And you have to do 3 hours, lines for food. And so I want to understand this not happen from one day to another. It was years. Like people feel betrayed. I feel betrayed. It's not, I don't believe, in the socialists. I don't believe, they betray our own people. That's what I'm trying to say. Then my dad was a military. He was a high position too. And then my dad, we started seeing, hey, this is happening in the airport. 8 pounds of cocaine in the air freight. He grabbed one of the guys with 100 million in cash in the airplane because he was a military, he was supposed to do the right. He got trading all the time. He got, all the time, calling, we're going to call your family, we're going to do that. It was kind of hard for us,
No, absolutely. No, 100%. No, I got you. Again, it's always good to hear this perspective.
Yes.
Let me go up to Erica. So thank you for that, Heather. Let me go to. Let me go to James. James is going to do a final, and then we'll bring up 2 new people. But please continue to tap the screen. Again, I think it's a very interesting discussion, learning things from both sides on this that are presenting their perspectives. James, your final comment, bro. Definitely want to hear how you're going to go out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Smitty, for having me up here. I'm gonna kind of repeat some of the stuff I said because I'm sure people have cycled in and out. So first, Maduro isn't in jail because he was a bad leader in Venezuela, according to the U.S. government. That's not what the indictment suggests. The indictment also does not suggest that he is being held because of anything to do with oil. What the indictment says is that he trafficked drugs. So I'm going to start there, right? That's what the indictment says, and that's a fact. And I think that you have some people up here, Smitty, that are dabbling in misinformation, and simply just saying that something is a lie doesn't make it a lie, right? Like, and I have seen one of the panelists do that after everyone speaks. She just is kind of espousing and saying things are not true. But let's deal with the crux of this. We had no authority under any statutory obligation, declared war, nor was anybody under the risk of imminent harm. Those are the 3 criteria under the War Powers Act of 1973 that would allow us to go into a foreign country. And you're going to have the yappers that then say, well, the authorized use of the AUMF, the authorization for the use of military force, applies here. It doesn't. The authorized use of military force in each of the 2 instances where it is currently valid, one is in relation to 9/11. Venezuela has nothing to do with 9/11 or Al-Qaeda. And 2, the other is dealing specifically with Iraq. This doesn't have anything to do with Iraq. So the law precludes it there. The intrusion to a foreign country is a violation of international law. And people can say, well, international law is not what. Well, then the foreign, the FISA law specifically says that we cannot jail a foreign leader. And people can say, well, he wasn't duly elected. That is not our business. We have no right under the law to determine if another country's election was valid or not, right? And our law specifically indicates to us that we cannot hold and try a foreign leader. And I gave several times in the chat the legal precedent with which it is, and I'll drop it in the chat when I drop down, but I will give you the part of U.S. law that precludes such actions. You cannot jail a foreign leader because you've manufactured consent to do so, because the law says very clearly you can't arrest a sitting foreign leader. And so you have a person up here, and I think the legal documentation that we're looking for is 18 U.S.C. 1602. But I'll put it in the chat. The law doesn't give us the authority to do what we did. And so people saying it's a lie. Maduro was a bad person. He's not in jail for any of that shit y'all are talking about. He's not in jail for any of that. He is arrested on a drug trafficking charge. And so you could say he's a dictator. That is not why he's arrested. That is not why he's in jail. The record speaks for itself in the U.S. District Court in New York. And so when we start having these conversations and trying to justify consent for doing something that on its face is against the law is an invitation for fascism. But the greater threat here, Smitty, is what stops him from taking over California now? What stops him from saying, the governor of California did it, I'm going to go in there, remove him, and take him out of power? What stops him from saying that, I think that Carney, to Covey's point earlier, is doing something inappropriate, and I don't think his election is valid, so I'm going to go in and remove him. All of these things lend itself to a very slippery slope. The law excludes our ability to do it. And so I think, and I'll land on this, what we are going to see is what the U.S. Federal District Court is going to do. And I think it is my position that the U.S. Federal District Court is going to say you need to release him under his diplomatic immunity. You need to do so immediately. And the concern that we should all have is he going to comply with an order of a United States court? That's the problem. That is the biggest problem of this, because if he does not, we are in constitutional crisis. And it invites us to look like idiots because we are saying to the world, our president went and did something that is illegal and a court had to say it to him and he still didn't comply, which makes us no better than Maduro at all. And I'll land there.
All right, brother. Thank you, man, for coming up. Appreciate you. All right, we're gonna let James go. Let me go to the two new panelists. We got Erica, we got Swan. Again, please tap the screen, share the live. Please follow the panelists, the 5 folks that are up here. We're gonna get one more person up here in a second. But again, please tap the screen. Please continue to do what you're doing. Really appreciate all of the support. Erica, definitely want to know how you feel about this situation in Venezuela, and what do you think it means going forward?
Hi, Smitty. Hi, everyone. James actually just kind of wrapped it up. Jamal did. He has so many names. But he just kind of wrapped it up because the indictment against him is for narco trafficking, conspiracy to do so, which we just pardoned the former president of Honduras for. And so using the justification that, what's his name? Maduro committed atrocities in Venezuela as a reason to go in and kidnap a sitting president of a sovereign nation is just balderdash to me. That's the best way I can put it. It just simply doesn't make sense whatsoever. I just wish that the Trump administration, of course, would be honest. But another thing about this is that we have to talk about how the way that I see this is another way, and it's been a decades-long campaign to stifle the spread of socialism. Workers owning the means of production. Once Chavez nationalized the oil industry in Venezuela, what ended up, and he was using that money to actually fund the Bolivarian missions. It was an issue because those social programs were helping Venezuelans, but I do know that there, of course, was mismanagement. And then in what was it, about 2014, when the oil industry, the price went too low. We ended up, of course, those programs started to fade away. It became harder to, of course, fund them because of the mismanagement. And then the sanctions really put the kibosh on it, just like ended those. And I know one thing that we have been on since the 1950s is stopping the spread of what we call communism. But they weren't doing communism. They were doing a form of socialism to just basically help the people there in Venezuela, all right, with these programs, with housing, with food, and so on and so forth. And we can't deny that the sanctions played a part all right, in accordance, of course, in conjunction with the mismanagement. And I don't understand why people don't look at that and see that America's influence there played a big part. It just boggles my mind that people don't want to accept that. Another thing also, Smitty, is that they're flip-flopping. Like Rubio did a few different programs. He did I think it was First Watch, and he did not First Watch, Face the Nation, and he did Meet the Press. And he can't clearly state what the U.S. is going to be doing in Venezuela. He says that they're going to just be overseeing the transition, but not running it like Trump says that the U.S. will be. They don't know what it is that they're doing. They're literally playing this by ear, and it's kind of like an hour by hour or even maybe a day by day type of thing for them where they don't know what's going to happen. And so I don't know. I don't know. I'm tired of the president, any president, doing things outside of the authorization of Congress. They're not working together. Everybody just seems to be doing everything all willy nilly. There's no order here. There's no order. And it's like Covey said, what if he decides that he just wants to invade, not invade, but, do a strike and just do an operation is what he's calling it, an operation to remove, the Ayatollah from Iran. What if he decides that, Nigeria isn't giving him what he wants? So he's going to go ahead and remove the president in Nigeria. You know what I mean? So what if he just
Valid
decides to
point.
do this stuff? Come on, what are we doing? Y'all have got to stop excusing everything that Donald Trump is doing and actually look at the impact in which he is doing it. Like, he can't do this stuff. I don't want to cuss on your panel. I like to I try to use my corporate voice over here. But yeah, so there's that. But
I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for that.
of course.
No, okay. I mean, strong point from Erica. Let me go to Swan, and then we're gonna go to Naquan, and then Carolina. I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna give you a final comment. Okay, fam?
I was gonna suggest it anyway. Thank you.
Okay, no, you good.
Yeah, but I can wait till they go. That's fine.
Okay, fantastic. And then Heather or Patriotic, again, I'll try to work you in because I'm assuming they have probably come up to address something that you said earlier. So if they certainly do that, I will give you an opportunity to respond. Let me go to Swan. Swan fam, how are you? What are your thoughts? Feel free.
Yeah, sorry, you can let Naquan go before me because my dog's barking. I gotta calm her down real quick.
Okay. Naquan, go ahead, bro. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I had to look up the cat and dog thing, and the only thing that I can find is a USA Today post based off a Twitter post. No actual credible source. I did find sources saying that dog food shortage was a thing that people could not feed their animals, but I did not find a credible source outside of a Twitter post. So I'm curious as to where she got that claim from.
Pedro, do you want to respond to that?
I don't understand what he's saying. He's saying that.
Okay, so you made
reference that about Venezuelans.
No, I want to clarify. You're saying that the Venezuelan people, at no point whatsoever during the Maduro regime, didn't have to eat animals.
You made the claim. You made the claim, and you said for us to look it up. So I did just that. I did just that.
To look up the real reasons why Maduro was arrested, which is not because Trump doesn't like him as a dictator, like people were saying. That's what I was saying. I was like, look up the real reasons why he's being indicted, why he got arrested.
Okay. So
that's what I said.
Okay, so when you first came up, you called everybody up here stupid. You said people in Venezuela was eating dogs and cats because they did not have food. And you said, if you don't believe me, look it up. That's exactly what I did.
Yes, can I talk?
I said they were eating dogs and cats.
I was living there when that happened. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was going to say. You're not going to tell me that I said look it up after that. No, you can look it up and you will find that it's true, but that's not what I said. I said look up what he was being arrested, not about the dogs and cats things. And the dogs and cats thing is 100%
okay,
true.
So where
can I new animals?
Where can I I found that claim too. And the only claim that I can see that's tied to that was a Sue head saying that shrug dealers were kidnapping animals so they can sell them. I have that source on my screen as well.
No, you're not gonna go
I knew
tell
that
me
somebody was going there.
People in Venezuela are going through.
Okay.
I was there. I lived through that.
Let's do this, y'all. Let's do this, y'all. Real quick. I think Heather wants to also say something. Heather, really quick, if you could.
Yes,
and then I want to go.
One moment was a crisis in Venezuela. We tried to find because we, in the moment at the beginning, when Chavez, started the programs, we served people, in the agriculture, we start, feeding. And then one moment the crisis was so high, like we have to import food to China. China was our first provider in the food. China, Europe, Russia. And then we started, but one moment the corruption was so high that a lot of containers get rotten in the port and the people didn't get the food. So what happened is government creates something you can find plant rabbit. It's like a rabbit is conejo. You start farming animals and you can eat it. That's what Provich is trying to say. And that happened in 2017, 16, because the crisis for food was so high, even the zoo animals, the people start stealing animals from there to eat.
Okay. Okay.
So that's
All
what
right.
will happen. So then obviously it was the media creating like, hey, it's because the sanction. No, it wasn't because that, because we're selling enough oil to China, Iran, Russia. We have the best in the moment with the higher oil barrels prices. Highest, we have that part. And it's true. We create like a nice social programs. But the problem was the levels of corruption, mismanagement, and nobody was accountability from the wrong decisions that brings to the people suffering what we have
Right.
suffering. That's what
Right.
happened.
Yeah, and people are saying in the chat about Rabbit and that being a common.
Yeah, but yeah, it was
That's common. Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely common.
that's
Yeah,
what
that's
was happening in there. It was obviously, a lot of media, international media, but yeah, it was a crisis of food during a period of time, and we couldn't serve people with food. They can find anything to eat, and people were starving, and then they create this program called Plant Rabbit. You can raise farm animals. Is the people eating dogs? Is what they have found. It's probably happened. So, but yes, you can find that news in long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that from 2016 to what was it? 2016, 2019. But I find nothing about which she literally said out of her whole chest.
Oh, okay, got it.
I can't
What
find
you tried
nothing
to,
about
yes.
outside of a Twitter post that USA Today reposted saying that dogs and cats were being eaten. I literally only can find a USA Today post that quoted from a Twitter post.
Got it.
Yeah, actually, rabbit is a normal food, but the problem became media is because the people start stealing animals from the zoo. That's what happened. So, that's what the concern, what kind of animals they were eating. So it's not healthy enough. It was what happened there. So, yeah, it was
a famine. It was a famine in the whole country. So I'm not saying it was like everybody was eating dog, but there was this group of people that were even eating out of garbage like trucks. They were like really gather around garbage trucks and scavenge through the food behind the garbage trucks. That's how bad it was for people in Venezuela at some point. So when I said some people were eating, that's a fact. I know, like, I'm literally like right next door to Venezuela. So like a lot of my family is mixed, half Venezuelan as well, because I'm Colombian. And I saw that happen to people like with my own eyes. And I have family who fled.
Didn't you say my people earlier? But now you just admitted you're Colombian. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I consider Venezuelans my people because half my family is from Venezuela. Like literally, a lot of people you're gonna meet are Colombian, half Colombian, and half Venezuela. So I could call them my people because we even have the same flag, the same foods, the same customs, the same everything. So me, Colombian, and Venezuelans are one. So you're not gonna tell me who I call my people and who I'm not gonna call my people. I'm also an American, and Americans are also my people. So what you gonna do about it?
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, y'all. Hold on, brother. Let me go to Swan. Swan, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'll go ahead.
I'll try to keep it brief. I think I want to take a step back and look at the bigger picture here, which is the reality that the United States, ever since its inception, has never been known to go into a land and provide aid without taking more than what the land that we're going into is going to benefit from. This is a no-brainer. What we're talking about is white supremacy at work. Patriotic, you said something along the lines of there being no racism in Venezuela. That is not true, right? As a matter of fact, okay, I went to do some research, right? And I saw that racism denial. Excuse me, cállate, por favor. I'm speaking. Don't cut me off while I'm speaking. Thank you very much. So the denial of racism is really bad in Venezuela. And that is exactly why you hear her denying that racism exists there. It still very much so exists. If white supremacy wasn't an issue there, then Trump would not have overstepped and did what he did. I think that people need to pay attention to reality. There's nothing that you are going to gain from this. Trump is a terrible person. But I think that that's the issue. The other issue too, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of nationalism. And I don't think people understand the harm when it comes to nationalism, right? Nationalism makes everybody within a country think that they are all one, right? And them thinking that they are all one and that everybody's on an equal playing field, or, you just need to work a little bit harder. It's easier for these systems of oppression to continue to exist. And that's what we're seeing happen here. This is a no-brainer. This is the game that we have been seeing historically white and predominantly white countries play, right? Ever since the inception and the creation of whiteness and white supremacy. I think that that's the reality of the situation, right? I don't think that any black or brown country or nation that is not white predominantly should have to have a white nation coming into their land, right? Because the end result has never been good. Patriot, I don't know how to say your full username, but like name a time period, right? As to when America or any white country went into another country's land, said that they were going to clean up a mess, made more of a mess, destabilized their economy, and left people worse off than what they were before. You had what the I think it was a hurricane in Puerto Rico, right? Trump doesn't even acknowledge Puerto Rico as being a part of the United States. A lot of people don't, because they see them as less than, right? Like there's nothing good that is going to be gained from this. Like you have to wake up and smell the coffee. And then for you to talk about us not experiencing racism here in the United States, here's my thing, right? We know that the maternal and infant mortality rate for black women and infants is 3 times higher than it is for white women. Until a black woman can go into a hospital and give birth to her baby, and these systems are dismantled and destroyed, then we can talk about racism not existing. But you don't experience racism as a black person in the United States, so don't speak on what my people experience. I'll end there for now.
Thank you, Swan. All right, let me go to Carolina. Carolina, final comment.
Yes. Oh my God. And thank you so much to Erica and Swan for your comments. I was just sitting here quietly, like so happy. Is I actually, of all the Venezuelan people who have come up here and the cosplaying Venezuelans who are secretly Colombian and Puerto Rican, I respect your opinion and your words more than anyone, because I think you actually give a nuanced perspective on this, being a Chavez supporter, because this is something that I have stated about socialist leaders in Latin America. I supported the revolution that Castro brought to Cuba. Do I understand that Castro later became corrupt? Yes. There were also 93 assassination attempts on his life, and there were also ridiculous embargoes placed on Cuba. I support Chavez's vision. I do understand that corruption played a factor in that, and that Maduro totally failed to deliver on any of the socialist promises for the country. So I recognize that, and that's why I appreciate you giving a balanced perspective. I think that's the problem here, is that so many of the people that we have heard from are coming from a point of privilege. A lot of the people who came up here, when they wanted to talk about their parents losing their jobs under Chavez, refused to state what their parents' jobs were. And that's very telling. A lot of these people are coming from a disingenuous place because they do not want to admit the complicit behavior that they had in the destabilization and the oppression, systemic oppression of Black and Indigenous people under the government prior to Chavez taking power. So they don't want to admit what their role was in that. And that's why they're being quiet. You know, if my family had been so, attacked by a quote unquote regime, I'm going to say loud and proud exactly all of the details about what their occupation was, what the reason was for their opposition, what the reason was for them being attacked or unalived or whatever the case may be. The fact that they are not wanting to reveal that is very telling. The fact that every single one of those people also came up here and tried to, as Swan stated, portray a nationalist perspective and deny racism is also very telling. I have repeatedly told everyone, please look at the faces of the people who are protesting in Venezuela right now and are not happy about the regime change. They're not saying they support Maduro, some of them are, but they're not saying that in large part. They're saying they are against the U.S. invasion. They are Black and Indigenous. The people who are celebrating are white Venezuelans in the United States who are protected and who are supporting the fascists in the White House right now. So all of this is important to understand. I think that also the other problem we've seen is a lot of younger people. A lot of people were saying they were born in the 2000s. They don't understand what the country was like prior to Chavez taking power. They do not come from one of these marginalized communities. So this is also a problem of, it's not just the United States that we have an education problem about knowing the geopolitical history of the Western Hemisphere. It's rampant all over. And unless you come from one of those marginalized communities, you may not be very privy to it. But to sit here and silence people or to dismiss it as, oh, Indigenous people are only this percentage, Black people are only this percentage, that's white supremacy. That is white privilege. So I thank everybody for having like such a great conversation. Patriotic, girl. Whew, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it because I'm gonna reserve my piece. I'm gonna reserve my piece. But anyway, Heather, I do respect your perspective. Love everybody who's been able to chime in on this. Please pay attention to what happens and what unfolds within the next 6 months, because literally Trump and Rubio are already stating they want to come for Mexico and Cuba next. 2 more sovereign nations, 2 more predominantly non-white nations. And that needs to be terrifying to everybody. But thank you all. Love you.
All right. Thank you, Catalina. Good to see you. All right. We're going to let Catalina go. All righty. So I'm going to hold the 6th spot for someone from Venezuela. I think we have a few in the requests. And then Patriotic, I'm also going to let you go, but feel free to, if you want to respond to Catalina or
May
anything
I
else
say
you'd like
something
to.
before Patriotic leaves, Smitty?
I wanted to drop, but I wanted to
Oh.
finish something before I drop. If I could.
May I say something to Patriotic
real
first?
quick, Patriotic. I think Erica wants to speak to you, and then, yeah, feel free, Patriotic. Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Patriotic, one of the things though is that I think that you, and I say this with respect, so it may be something that you want to look into, right? You may want to look into American imperialism in South and Central America and see the detriment in which it has actually caused. Swan spoke to it, but like we're giving specific examples. You may want to look at like Operation Condor. That's CONDOR. All right, it happened between the 70s and 80s. All right, and it was basically a dirty war. All right, in Central America, not Central, but in South America, amongst the countries, and it basically the U.S. funded new regimes there. Like the U.S. created the Latin American, dictator. That's what they did. That's what the US did. And pretty much what ended up happening is that so many people were killed. Okay. So many people were killed. So much land was taken. We can look at what they did to the Mayan people and how they killed hundreds of thousands of Mayans. Okay. So we have to look at these things. That's in Guatemala. All right. You want to look at the banana wars. Okay. It's so much that I just need you to look into it, okay? You can Google this and you can look into American imperialism in Central South information, and it will tell you about why they did it, and it was all to protect American interests. And as Swan said, it always leads to, if not the death, then the disenfranchisement of the indigenous people there. Okay, it's not a good thing what's about to happen to Venezuela. All right, we really have to look to the past to see the future. It will tell us how things are going to go. You really need
All
to
right.
do that, Patriotic. That's all.
Thank you, Erica. We're going to go Patriotic, and then I want to get the new panelists an opportunity to speak. And then we may be on time, y'all, for today. It looks like we definitely probably going to have to do another live tomorrow morning, probably earlier, but we'll see. We'll see how things shake out. Patriotic, your final response.
Okay, so I just want to say that I hear everybody here talking about, I understand what they're saying about look up, it never worked before. We did this, we did that in Iran, we did this in Syria. I get all of that, and I totally understand. The trust in the government is like on the bottom because we've been screwed over and over again. And we saw these perpetual wars that all they did was destabilize other countries. And I get all of that. But I want everybody to understand here that I don't care what other fucked up administrations have done in the past. We have a new boss in town. We have someone in charge that is totally different from every other leader that has ever walked in that White House. We have Trump now. And for me, after I saw how every other thing didn't work, I want to give Trump a chance to do what he wants to do and do things differently than what every other leader has done. So for me, I don't care what other administrations have done. All this time you keep saying since Trump got into office that, oh, war. And Trump has ended wars. He hasn't started wars. And for me, I put my trust in God above everything else, which is why I refuse to live in this victim mentality of black versus white, oppression of this, oppression of that. I don't look at that with that victim mentality. I don't live in victim mentality. If that's what you want to do, that's on you. But the rest of the real world doesn't live like that. We don't care about race because we don't look at race, the majority of the people. That doesn't mean racism doesn't exist. I never said it didn't. I never said racism doesn't exist in Venezuela. I said there is racism everywhere in the world, but that doesn't make the majority of the people. The majority of the people just don't care about people's races. That's what I want to say, first of all, because I keep putting words in my mouth, as you can see. And second of all, I put my trust in God. And I fully support of Cuba, whatever Trump decides to move forward. I know a lot of you hate me because of that, but I'm an immigrant Latina who loves God, who supports Trump in everything that he do, and I'm willing to burn the world down to save America because I love this country. I bleed red, white, and blue, and I will do anything to save this country.
Can I ask her a quick question, Smitty?
That's all I gotta say. God
can I
bless
ask her-
America.
Wait, no, don't.
And
Can
God bless Venezuela and all of the people right now. Let us celebrate. Let them celebrate. Let them take this victory, and then we'll worry about what comes next. So let them take this W.
Patriot, can I ask you a question? You said you're not white, you're Latino. Can you tell me the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality?
What does that even have to do? I don't care. I'm done.
It's a point. No. It's a point.
Racism. I don't care about none of that.
If you don't know what race is, you can't talk about. If you don't know what race is, you can't talk about racism.
I know what race is. I just don't give a shit about.
You said you're not white. You said you're not white. You Hispanic.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not equipped for this conversation.
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm not equipped to fall for your identity politics. Fuck that, okay? I'm Latina.
No, you're not
I'm
equipped.
American.
You're not equipped.
Can I say God bless America?
Hold on.
God bless Venezuela, and screw all you liberals and socialists who are destroying and have been destroying this country. Okay, peace.
Okay. Thank you, Patriotic. Thank you for coming up. All right, let me do this, y'all. Let me work in the new person. Is it Mahila? Is that
Myla? It's Myla.
Myla. Ooh, I was way off.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all right. Everybody usually is.
All right. Thank you for coming up. What do you think? What do you think about what's going on?
So I just want to state, because clearly it's so important for people to know, like, background check. So let me give you my background check of where I am and whatever. I am an born Ecuadorian, U.S. citizen, and of course, came to this country as an immigrant, and had to see a lot of immigrants have to go through so much stuff to be in this country. So I hate to kind of burst people's bubbles on what they don't know, what people actually go through, and the heartache it is to literally come as an immigrant here, which a lot of people in this panel do not know half of what they have to go through to be an immigrant here. But that's not the point here. If we talk about race, let's talk about I am an I guess if we want to call it a indigenous, my side of it's indigenous. I don't consider myself.
Real quick, Myla, when you said I just didn't understand the last piece. When you say I
So
am
in Ecuador, there is the majority of Ecuadorians are indigenous. There is no white. There's no such thing as white over there. There's indigenous, there's blacks, and you are some sort of indigenous in the majority of Ecuadorian.
Are you saying there's no such thing as white people in Ecuador?
No. I didn't say that. I said the majority of Ecuadorians come from indigenous countries.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, I got it.
It's not like that. And there's definitely blacks too, just in case everybody wants to come at me for that. There's definitely blacks too.
I'm sorry, can you stop putting the S on the back of that? That is so dehumanizing.
You say black people, just black people.
Yeah, black people, not
Okay, sorry,
not
black
That's
people.
okay. Okay, so
I apologize for that.
so now I appreciate the context, but so do you?
Okay.
So no,
As
I
far
appreciate what
as
you're saying, but yeah, as far
Venezuela
as this,
itself,
yeah.
yes. As far as Venezuela itself, I happy that Maduro is gone. Maduro has been a problem for Venezuela and many Latin countries. And I can speak for my country itself, because of Chavez and Maduro. My own country has been affected by it. So I am very happy about that. I know it's a regime, so which means that you have to cut off a lot of what's already still in there. It's not just him. And I believe this is one of the reasons. Now, as far as him being taken out, it is not because of how he treated his own people, because I wish he would be tried internationally for killing many Venezuelans that only just wanted to speak for themselves, like what we're doing now. This would not be allowed in Venezuela. Just like a lot of these people don't understand what they meant by you having the freedom of being able to say whatever you want, whether it's good or bad. Venezuela didn't have that. You weren't allowed to say anything but that he was great and so on. So, that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, that what we are grateful for is being able to say Trump is horrible, Trump is this, Trump is that. That's something you weren't allowed to say that in Venezuela, because guess what? Either your life was at risk because you could, if you talk bad about your somewhat president, which he wasn't, because he was not technically elected in 2024. Just to point that out, he is not a president because he was never elected in
Okay,
2024.
so I think so. What you're saying is basically, hey, you know what? He did bad things. At the same time, here in America, we need to understand that we have freedoms that folks in Venezuela don't have, and we need to have some
110%.
perspective. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, real quick, let me go to appreciate that, my love. Let me go to Victoria, and then I'm gonna drop down, and then we're gonna probably be just about on time. If I didn't get you up today, I apologize. Victoria's probably gonna be the last person I get up. But please come back tomorrow. I was gonna go live tomorrow anyway. Today was kind of the anomaly. I didn't think I was gonna go live today, but I will definitely go live tomorrow. But Victoria, your perspective, how are you? Thank you for coming.
Hi. First off, thank you so much, so-called Smitty. I'm sorry I bombarded you with messages. I've never joined a TikTok live before.
Good.
Quick introduction. My name is Victoria Salomon. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela in 1996. So kind of relatively young. I'll be 30 next year. I know that we've been also having a discussion around like racial identity. As you can see, I'm white presenting. I'm primarily white, I would say, somewhat mixed, like a lot of other Latinos. I lived my entire life in Venezuela. When I was 16, I won a scholarship to attend an international school where we learn about peace and diplomacy, the United World Colleges. In order to be selected, you have to perform a national exam, do an interview, etc., etc. After doing the international baccalaureate there for 2 years, I was offered a full scholarship at the University of Florida. I attended school in Gainesville, Florida with that full scholarship, Go Gators, and graduated on public relations and image management. And I do currently work on corporate reputation and international affairs for Edelman. I still live in Gainesville, Florida. Met my husband freshman year of college in the dining hall. We started dating. We've been together for almost 10 years now. We got married back in 2020 during the pandemic. First, I would like to thank all of you. I'm sorry if sometimes some of the things I say are difficult to understand. I do have a little bit of an accent.
You're good. You're speaking fantastic, okay? You're doing great. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you guys are here willing to have this conversation about our country. As you know, it's been a very long set of 27 years. Chavez came into power in 1998. It is true that when he came into power, he was a popularly elected leader, meaning the primary core of people voted for him. My parents didn't, separated reasons. They're from a generation called the silent generation in our country, not the same as the US silent generation. But they're known as a silent generation because after a time of financial bonanza in our country, where a lot of people were making a lot of money, they kind of became apolitical. And so there was the oppression of a lot of people. And there was also the sideline of the Socialist and Communist Party in Venezuela. This happened in the 60s. It is a very important thing. These parties were not allowed to join the political race after the 60s for fear that it would lead to like an oppressive leftist regime. Why did this happen? Well, for the same reason that a lot of things happen in a lot of countries. Prejudice. Instead of people trying to understand each other and seeing what the causes for that political party to have been created, and then later on, rise into something that became popular with people, they were just afraid of changes that they had seen in neighboring countries around the same time. It is important to note that the Chavismo movement in general is not a popular movement amongst Venezuelans. It hasn't been since around 2012. This is the first larger election that is most commonly debated in terms of its legitimacy. Okay? There are groups that are minorities, and there are certainly groups that suffer secondary consequences of oppression in Venezuela. But those groups also don't support Chavismo. Right now, approximately 50% of the population lives under extreme poverty, which is below the line of making $1 to survive. Wow. It makes it very difficult, as you guys know, to find food and live in general. And 90% of the rest of the population live in normal poverty. My parents and my little brother and my entire family are still back home. Yeah, I've seen this as a testament to their lives, I would say. When I was young, and actually my entire life, my mom worked for, it's kind of difficult to translate, but she essentially worked for like the anti-corruption department of the judicial system. So essentially, she will be the person tasked with investigating judges who were suspected of foul play or corruption. Because of this, we grew up in conditions of persecution pretty much our entire life. I don't want to talk too much about like how that affects like your mental health.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, I want you guys to know we are aware of imperialist doctrines. We are aware that these places a little bit is minimizing it. We are aware that these are uncertain and dangerous times for our country. We were asking for a lot of years for help from our neighboring countries, and a lot of them really didn't provide that to us. This ended up happening, honestly, because of public relations. I'm obviously biased because I'm a communicator, but my point is we do know that this is dangerous. This attack, most of us, I think, I'm not an ambassador, can't speak for my people.
Real quick, Victoria, when you say we know that this is dangerous, are you talking about this period where Maduro has been deposed and now this instability? Is that when you saying this is dangerous? When you say, just want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
That's a great question. Yes and no. I guess what I mean specifically is not so much the fact that he was deposed. I can get into his leadership a little bit more in detail, maybe in another occasion if you guys want. He really is more so the front for the movement, but he was never really a leader within the Chavismo movement. What I mean really is, obviously, it's dangerous when another nation deposes of a leader. That said, I do want to say, geographically speaking and geopolitically speaking, the United States and Venezuela have always had a very close relationship. Venezuela is a country in Latin America where the only border, a Spanish-speaking country, is with Colombia. This is very important for the nature of our people. We are a Caribbean nation. We have Dutch islands right above. We have Aruba, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago. On the side, we have Suriname, French Guiana. This is also very important. And on the bottom, we have historically speaking, it is true that we've always had a very close relationship with the US. Do I think it is an ideal situation to have the US come and say, we are going to be running the country and this is American oil, even though it's in Venezuelan soil? Perhaps no. I don't think it's an ideal situation. But when I think about my parents and how they struggle to find food, to find work, how their life quality has decreased, when I think about the fact that I haven't seen my brother in a decade, I grow desperate. I'll have to be honest. I grow desperate. And I think that this is something that the majority of us are feeling and have felt for many years. I swear that we did try to get the UN observers. We did many times. Nothing really came from that route. We asked our neighboring countries, and the largest displacement of people across the world, the second largest, in fact, is the Venezuelan people. It's only second to the Syrian people. There's 8 million of us across the entire world.
Okay.
So we have hope, but I don't have all the answers, obviously. I just wanted to say we're aware. I personally don't like Trump. I'm sure some people may like him. I think he's sexist, racist, and a rapist, which is not great. And I don't love that a felon is in power in the US. The current landscape of the US is not what I came to this country for. I think I really admire President Barack Obama, and when I was young, I was like, maybe I can too. That was the reason why I wanted to come to this country. It's a little bit different now, but it's full of great people like you guys who are willing to have these, like you're saying, uncomfortable conversations. So I'm very thankful that you guys are interested.
Absolutely.
And if you can, ask your Venezuelan friends how things are going. Make sure that you're amplifying the right voices and giving them space. Next days will be complicated. We will need your help to keep our sovereignty.
Okay. No, I appreciate that, Victoria. And you said this was the first time you've gone live on TikTok?
Yeah, I just like to mostly watch videos, but
I appreciate it. Listen, again, like you said, right, we don't have to agree on everything. But the fact is that I definitely want to make sure we have the voices that need to be heard, again, regardless of whether I always agree or not. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I know it was heartfelt. And I appreciate that. Let me go to Covey. Covey, you'll get the final comment of the day. Please come back tomorrow, Victoria, and the rest of the panelists. By the way, come back tomorrow if you can. I know some of y'all didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to say a whole lot, but that would be great. I'm going to go live again tomorrow morning. But Covey has an update. Go ahead, fam.
Yes. Number one, I just wanted to say this whole situation is very sad, in my opinion, because what it shows is that imperial countries like America, the UAE, Israel, and all these other countries are just taking advantage, basically, of trauma and pain that people have. But can you make me the big screen, please? I beg you. I want to show you the update. So everybody knows Stephen Miller, right? Who is Trump's top aide. So his wife posted this. Hold on. Where is it? She said Greenland is next.
What?
Stephen Miller's wife posted this saying, putting the American flag over Greenland, by the way. And this is what I mean, right? By American imperialism. And this is the issue that I've been having within these conversations, which, yes, I'm not going to deny the grievances. I swear, and has already responded, by the way, saying that it was very disrespectful and basically disgusting. But my point is that if people are perfectly fine with America just randomly invading a whole country, what's next? Genuinely, what is next? Stephen Miller's wife is literally online saying Greenland is next. Is Cuba next? And also, if I'm not mistaken, there was a threat from, who was it? Fam, that
wasn't a troll account that did that?
No, I just checked her account. It was an official account, and Greenland also officially posted. That was an official account. It wasn't a troll account. If I'm not mistaken, Hexeth, I think, was it Hexeth who said that Colombia is next and Mexico as well? So they're threatening multiple other countries, and people are okay with this. Is Cuba next? Is Mexico next? Is Colombia next? Is America just going to be able to invade into any country they deem to be a dictator or whatever it is and just remove? I don't know. If people are okay with this, very interesting to me.
A lot to talk about, that's for sure. No, hey, thank you, fam, for the update. I appreciate all of you guys, Covey, Victoria, Mila, Swan, Erica, and Heather. Yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I wish I'd had y'all more time. I apologize, fam, for those who didn't get to speak as much. Victoria, appreciate you. Y'all stay safe. I'll be back tomorrow, y'all. Y'all take care.
It's a blanket. Thank you, I'd offered. Oh my god.
Baller.
Wait. Car, Habibi, car, Habibi. Oh my god. Oh, I opened a parachute. Arigato. Let's go, mami. Oh.